Good evening and welcome to WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan men's basketball alongside Dan Levine. My name is Adam Rich, and tonight in Ann Arbor, both number 19 Michigan and Purdue enter the contest losers of their previous game. And for both sides, what occurred on Sunday was tough to swallow. Michigan lost 87-69 up in East Lansing, and whereas their shots were not falling, Cassius Winston could not seem to miss, Dan.
That's right, Adam, and obviously there's a lot more to it. It's just not more than just a basketball game when you're going down the road and playing against a Michigan State team. A really bad loss. You would have loved to see, with Isaiah Livers out, more offensive production from a guy like Eli Brooks. The team as a whole did manage to score around 70 points, which is definitely a respectable offensive output, but they need to focus on the defensive end tonight because that's where they struggle. They're back on their home court, and this is where they play best.
No doubt Michigan, a team that has been downright dominant at home. Their only loss at home coming in a tightly contested game against Oregon. Really a nail-biter. Michigan had it late, just unable to pull that one out. An incredible game there for Franz Wagner. But returning to your point about Brandon Johns stepping up in the wake of Isaiah Livers, he'll be doing it again tonight as Isaiah Livers now out for his third consecutive game due to a groin injury he suffered early in that game against Presbyterian.
And you hate to see that for Isaiah Livers because right before he went down, he was really starting to find his rhythm and he was really starting to get going. He was finding his shot. He was playing great defense. So we hope that he can come back with that same vengeance and that same abilities. But in the meantime, like you said, Brandon Johns stepping in that starting lineup. We'll see what he can do. But what you're losing with Isaiah Livers going down, you're gaining something else in Brandon Johns being on that court. Obviously, you're losing that shooting ability that Livers provides. But with Brandon Johns, you're getting a better rebounder, which is something that you're going to need in this game against Purdue because John Teske is going up against a 7'3" huge body in Matt Harms. And he's going to need help with Brandon Johns scoring those rebounds, along with Trayvion Williams from Purdue, who's also actually more so than Matt Harms, the leading rebounder for Purdue so far this season. So we'll see if Brandon Johns can step in there and give them a boost.
Purdue, a team that loves its size. In even the past few years, Isaac Haas, about 7'2", a standout for about 3 or 4 years at Purdue. Caleb Swanigan now playing in the league, not doing that well in the NBA, but still an incredible college player over at Purdue. And in addition to loving his big men who can pound down low, Coach Matt Painter loves his shooters. One of them in particular, Sasha Stefanovic, a monster from the outside. He is 14 of his last 23, so he will be playing a huge role tonight. You know, Ryan Klein last year, an incredible shooter for Purdue. He's gone. Stefanovic doing an incredible job filling that role. But on Sunday for Purdue, down in Urbana-Champaign against Illinois, a meager 37 points. And whereas Michigan struggled to shoot the ball, what happened to Purdue against Illinois was unheard of. They scored their fewest points in a game since a 1949 loss against Loyola Chicago.
That's right. And back to your point about Sasha Stefanovic, you know, he's got a great story, and he's a streaky shooter, much like this entire Purdue team. You never really know what kind of offensive output you're getting from this team, and you never really know who it's going to come from. As of late, it's come from Stefanovic. He's very streaky. If he starts to get going, Michigan's to start to be scared. But if he starts off, you know, really not shooting well, 1 for 5, then the whole team could end up having an offensive output similar to the one they had against Illinois. And so they're going to depend a lot on Stefanovic tonight.
No doubt. And, you know, for Purdue, the struggles recently have been very surprising because Coach Matt Painter, a guy renowned for his offensive acumen, a guy who has really just been tormenting the Big Ten for the past 14 years now that he has been here with offensive standouts, namely Carson Edwards last year, a team that was just, inches on that Diakite shot from making the Final Four. That heartbreaker against Virginia ended up losing in overtime, but a different Purdue team this year, kind of closer to the bubble, a lot closer than Matt Painter and the players would like. They are down to number 51 in net, and you know, we've heard that the committee likes to factor in a bunch of approaches. They're up at number 22 in KenPom, so quite the discrepancy between their analytical numbers and their raw scheduling numbers, but this could be a huge upset win tonight. And you know, in the Big Ten, we've seen thus far, at least in this season, you never know what you're going to get on a given night.
Well, yeah, it is a new team, and one thing we know about Purdue is and Matt Painter, they've always been able to breed great talent. All those guys you named, Caleb Swanigan, Isaac Haas, the guard you just mentioned, you know, these guys that have continued to have great basketball careers or on their way to having professional basketball careers. So this is a new team, sure, but it's not a team that should be overlooked. Yes, they are unranked, but you've got guys like Eric Hunter Jr., who didn't really play much last year as a freshman. Now, out of the Big Ten, he's increased his scoring. He's the third most increase in terms of scoring in the whole Big Ten this season. So they've got a lot of guys that are capable of scoring the basketball, and despite their last time out, they only scored 37 points in the ball game. Look for them to bounce back. They definitely want to bounce back going on the road, where they played not as well as they have at home against a really solid Michigan team that's also looking to bounce back against a tough loss. This should be a good game.
And Michigan has actually lost 4 of their last 7, and it'll certainly be, like you said, a lot tougher to navigate tonight without Isaiah Livers. Some interesting shooting notes as Michigan now comes out onto the floor just before tip, donning the clean white unis with blue font. On the other side, Purdue rocking the black and gold, the traditional Boilermaker fit. You know, Michigan, 2 of those 3 wins, 2 came against very low-ranking opponents as Purdue wins the tip, so a big opportunity tonight as Purdue wins the tip. It's Nigel Eastern across the timeline, picked up by Franz Wagner. Eastern looking to go to work, swings to Treyvion Williams, fakes the handoff over to Stefanovic, looking to work inside. Harms has Johns posted up, can't get a lane. Up top now it's Hunter, over to Eastern, left wing, pumps inside Williams. He's got Teskey on him. Williams backing down, he's doubled. Johns goes out, Williams, hook shot, rolls it in. A friendly bounce. That one probably should have not even gotten above the cup, but just enough spin from the sophomore to get it over.
And they're gonna pound the ball down low in the block. They're gonna really put pressure on Teskey tonight. And one thing you can see right out of the gate on that first defensive possession for Michigan, Eli Brooks up in Stefanovic's grill, not letting him get that shot off.
Teskey now left hook short. Teskey nearly got his own rebound. Purdue, though, getting it back. It's Harms down low, the team's second leading rebounder with 5.8 a game. Harms now a touch up top, nearly traveled with it. Stefanovic running around the key, gets it back. Dribbling up top, swings Harms. Inside Williams looking to go to work against Teskey once again. Williams faces up a mid-range jumper from 18 feet. Can't get it to go. Rebound Michigan. And the Wolverines now looking to push back up as Eric Hunter does a good job to slow things down.
That's an interesting decision from Juwan Howard, putting Brandon John.
Teskey pops from 3, hits from 3. Runs back, does the arrow. John Teskey. Trayvion Williams gave him just a little bit too much room from out there, and Teskey made him pay. Teskey and Harms, 2 unique centers in that, despite being over 7 feet tall, both have the ability to stroke it from long range. Eric Hunter now from the mid-range, contested shot, gets it to go, switch that one home over Xavier Simpson, who was really lit up the other day by Cassius Winston.
These are some interesting matchups that Juwan Howard has out of the gate, having Brandon Johns on Matt Harms and Teskey on Trayvion Williams.
Teskey tried a 3-ball, a miscommunication down underneath. That one off of Nigel Eastern. He just about knocked it away from Matt Harms. The ball caroming out of bounds, and Michigan now going to have another chance. 20 on the shot clock, 18-11 on the game clock. Purdue leading, though, 4-3.
Second chance opportunities. Can't give them up.
Eli Brooks down low. He's tripped up top by Eastern. Eastern, an all Big Ten defensive player last year, looking to shut down Brooks, who, as you said, has been instrumental to the Wolverines' success. Johns now drives, gets a lane, flips it up with the right, swatted by Harms. Matt Harms, a great job at 7'3", the tallest player in Purdue history, showing off the quickness of a guard there to recover on Johns and swat that shot.
And that's what makes Matt Harms so special, is his ability to move. He's very mobile. He even has an outside shot. He may be 7'3", but he's capable. He's capable of shooting that 3-point shot, and you have to have your feet ready when you're guarding him.
Inbound Wagner, no good. A quick hitter by the Wolverines, unable to get it to go. Just under 18 minutes now, 4-3 Purdue. Eastern looking to drive from the mid-range. Airballs that one, not even close. Harms tried to save it, bounced it off the end line, and, you know, for Nigel Eastern, that shot, the airball from about 17 feet, elbow extended, really emblematic of the shooting struggles he has experienced all season long, down to a paltry 4 points per game.
And you know, Adam, I was just about to speak on that, is Nigel Eastern, he's only scored over 6 points one time this whole season. So it's interesting to see him try and find that stroke right out of the gate and airballing.
Skip past John's corner 3, no good, back rim. Strong rebound inside by Treyvion Williams, boxing John Teskey. And, you know, at 7'1", it is tough to move John Teskey out of the lane. Back on the other side, Eastern up top, swings Williams. Purdue looking to go high-low, can't find anything. It's Eastern now up top, the defense sagging off. Stefanovic now puts it on the deck, going left into the lane. Pivots, kicks out Hunter, the lefty from 3. That ball no good. A strong rebound inside by Eastern. You know, at about 6'7" as he's stripped. Eli Brooks now back the other way. He lays that one in over the outstretched arm of Sasha Stefanovic. And, you know, I know Eastern turned that ball over there, but at about 6'7", playing the 3 guard and being as physical and athletic as he is, that is a huge coup on the offensive glass, as we saw there.
That's right, and that's what he needs to do to build that confidence. He obviously is having trouble scoring the ball. He needs to build his confidence by doing other things. Rebounding the ball is going to help him.
Williams up and under, a beautiful finish to give Purdue the lead, 6-4. He's fouled as well. He'll be going to the line, the basket, counting 16:33 left in the first half here. And, you know, for Williams, just about every single possession down, we have seen him go to work against John Teske, and he's done a great job getting Teske just about underneath the basket.
And he's a thick in his body. He's a few inches shorter than John Teske, but he's built and he's thick and he's just a similar weight to Teske, which is why they have Teske guarding him in the first place, because he can match up more so than Matt Harms, who's a lot lankier.
Franz Wagner missed that one high off the glass, got his own rebound. A great hustle play by the young German up top to Simpson. And, you know, as Simpson travels on that one, thought he had the hook. But getting back to the big man, Trayvion Williams for Purdue, we talked before the broadcast began about the importance of Caleb Swanigan to recent Purdue basketball. Well, for Williams, Caleb Swanigan, a guy that is in a similar body mold, a guy that he really models his game after and seeks to emulate out on the court.
Well, it's tough when you're 6'9" because it's slightly undersized for a big man, similar to the way Caleb Swanigan was when he was at Purdue. So you have to use your body in other ways to go up against guys like John Teske, who are a lot bigger and perhaps even a lot stronger.
Stefanovic missed a 3 under the 16-minute mark. Still 6-5 Purdue. Teske tried to get a touch inside. That one batted out of bounds by the Boilermakers. We're going to head to the media timeout. 15:54, a back-and-forth game. And, you know, the offense has been a little bit ugly thus far, but I'd say good looks on the Michigan side that haven't quite fallen as they're shooting 25%, while Purdue on the other end has been hitting contested jumpers.
Purdue has been hitting, and that won't last, and you just got to make sure that you're forcing them down low and making them get to the hoop and not letting them shoot from the outside, because as soon as Stefanovic or somebody else starts to get going from the outside, then they might be in trouble, especially if they can't score. So early on, maybe not the best offensive production that you're looking for, but still are getting good opportunities. They were able to find Eli Brooks on that fast break. You see Brandon Johns on the wing taking it to the hole, still getting blocked by Matt Harms, but, you know, being aggressive and trying to score the ball early on, that's going to be the key for them, playing good defense, making Purdue, you know, score the ball at the rim and not from the outside, and then also being aggressive, getting to the rim on the offensive end.
And for Purdue, I'm sure just elated to see the ball go through the hoop. The other day, they were 0 for their first 11 from the floor tonight. 7 shots, 3 makes. A little bit of a sigh of relief, if you will, from Coach Matt Painter and his players.
Definitely Painter is a sigh of relief. That's one way to put it. But, you know, against Big Ten teams so far this season for Purdue, they've actually struggled offensively. They've only surpassed 60 points in a game one time against in Big Ten matchups.
And that was a double overtime game against Minnesota where they barely squeaked over 60 in regulation.
That's right, 62 points in regulation and then going to double overtime against Minnesota team. So you'd like to see, for Coach Painter, you like to see a little, like to see them hit right out of the gate.
Well, what Purdue lacks on the offensive end, they've certainly made up for on the defensive side, a rarity for Coach Painter's team that are usually offensive juggernauts, allowing a mere 59.1 points per game. That ranks second in the Big Ten and 13th overall in the NCAA, so the defense doing a great job to keep them in games. And, you know, on Sunday, the defense did an admirable job. Had they shot their usual season percentages against Illinois, I believe the numbers said they would have lost by 1 or 2. So the defense really competing game in and game out. The consistency has been there, whereas the offensive side, it has not.
Right, and that's interesting because they got up the same amount of shots or a similar amount of shots, but they just weren't hitting. And sometimes that'll happen. That's the nature of the game. But you've got to, as a shooter, if your shot isn't falling, obviously a guy like Sasha Stefanovic, he knows he can shoot. He's going to have bad games. We've seen him have bad games where he only hits 1 3 on, you know, many attempts. That's going to happen. You have to have trust in your shot. He's going to keep shooting whenever he gets the chance, no matter how many times he misses. And that's what happened against Illinois. They didn't hit. So far they're hitting tonight. So that means just Michigan is going to have to step up on them and not let them shoot.
Yeah, against Illinois, Stefanovic was actually the leading scorer for the Boilermakers in that game, had only 8 points. So really goes to show just how tough of an effort it was. And, you know, we saw him take a 3 earlier. Michigan done a great job thus far of trailing him tight around ball screens. Stefanovic, a guy who is elite at moving without the basketball, but tonight Michigan shadowing him like the white on glue, if you will.
And they have Eli Brooks on him tonight, which I really like because he's a mobile guard and he's not doing much on the offensive end. Last game against Michigan State only had 2 points, and he's a good defender. So you put him against a great offensive weapon like Stefanovic, say track him, don't let him shoot, make him dribble the ball, make him put that ball on the ground and go to the hoop. Eli Brooks has done a good job of that so far.
Headed back to the action here once again. 6-5, an early Purdue lead. 15:54 left on the game clock. 21 on the shot clock. Eli Brooks to inbound into Simpson. It's still the starters for the Wolverines on the Purdue side. It's Aaron Wheeler, Eric Hunter Jr., Isaiah Thompson, Matt Harms, and Stefanovic. Xavier Simpson thought he had a pass kicked. Instead, Purdue back the other way. Stefanovic up on the fast break. Great contest by Wagner, but a better finish by the sophomore Sasha Stefanovic. A surprising job there by the freshman to go vertical. You know, Franz Wagner struggled a lot with fouls early on, but a good contest. Lucky that nothing called. Simpson now up top. A good job icing the ball screen. Now around another one. Harms tried to hedge. Simpson thought he was fouled. Makes a great duck-in pass to Teskey, who lays it in and gets the and one opportunity.
That's a great, patient offensive possession. He was patient. He was looking for the right pass. He finally saw an opening, gave it to Teskey on the block, and that's where Teskey's going to eat, especially when he has an undersized man on him. They were able to switch, make the defensive players switch, and he got an undersized man on him. Easy finish for John Teskey.
And as Teskey's at the line now, I am always amazed when teams try and hedge against Xavier Simpson. Teskey rolls that one in. You know, Simpson, a guy where you would think the scouting report would be to go under ball screens with how elite of a passer he is and how poor historically of a shooter he's been. Doing a lot better this year. He is up to a career high 36% from three, but still, you figure you'd want to go with the career percentages. Still, teams hedging that one, and he picks them apart every time. Michigan now on the defensive end in a 2-3 zone, flashing a different look for Purdue. Interesting, Simpson was down low in the zone. You rarely have a guy like that, as Stefanovic now shoots short on the three ball. John's the rebound. This game knotted up at 8, just under the 15-minute mark. Simpson across the timeline looking for a ball screen from Teskey. It's a hedge again. Teskey got the duck in, had a little man on him. Good job by Purdue to recover. Double team. Teskey turns it over. Good job by Stefanovic rolling in. Up ahead, Wheeler almost overran it. Wheeler has to save it from going out of bounds. Wild pass back to Brooks. Eli Brooks now back the other way. Helter-skelter, Franz Wagner, three ball on the trail off the back rim. Teskey tries to lay it back in, fouled from behind though. That one going to be the first against the sophomore Aaron Wheeler.
And Teskey's eating up those boards. Like you said about hedging on Xavier Simpson, it's interesting that he's a senior, so he's been around a long time. The scouting report is generally that he can't shoot, so they still decide to hedge on him, which is interesting because even though he has been working on his shot and his shooting has improved this season as a senior, he's still looking to pass. He's mainly looking to pass, and with Teskey down low getting open, obviously they double team him there, and they force a turnover. Teskey threw it right into a turnover. So that's actually good defense and good planning from Purdue.
Wolverines now working the ball around. It's Franz Wagner close to the block hand. 15 on the shot clock. 14:26 on the game clock. Still knotted up at 8. Wagner round a ball screen from Teskey. He's guarded well by Jihad Proctor, who recently checked in. Now 3-on-2 opportunity for Purdue. Eric Hunter to the cup with the left hand. Lays it in with the left hand. The lefty showing off that left hand. Being a lefty myself, you know, guaranteed left hand anytime down the floor.
And you see the way they're denying the ball, and that's how they're creating turnovers leading to fast break points. They only have 10 points, but a lot of those points are on the fast break so far in this game because of they're running, they're getting down the court right after turnovers by denying the ball, denying Teskey the ball and forcing turnovers and quickly getting down the court.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Brooks double teamed inside to Teskey. Flips that one up, not even close. Good defense there by Evan Boudreau, recently checked in as well. Purdue now back the other way, and you know, for Michigan, they've had a few back cut opportunities even on that possession. Both Brandon Johns and Eli Brooks were open down low, but the passers unable to find their guys. Offensive side now, Eric Hunter working around the perimeter.
That's what you need. That's what you need to do when they're cutting you off. You need to go back door.
And there's John Teskey cutting off the Purdue offense. Simpson now to the hole. Thought about the hook shot. Looked like he nearly carried there, but lucky to get away with that one. Now 13-16 on the game clock. 10-8 Purdue. That pass was inside to Teskey. He now gets another opportunity. Faces up 15 feet. Strokes it home. John Teskey knocks this one up at 10, just over 13 to go in the first half.
I really like that shot selection from Teskey. He's had a tough time getting the ball to the hole. He caught the ball, and he said, I'm going to shoot it. Why not? I know how to shoot.
Purdue working in a lot of dribble handoffs. It's Isaiah Thompson stripped up top. He tried to lay out to save that one, ended up tripping Franz Wagner near the top of the key, just about saving a fast break. So, you know, Purdue willing to take that foul there, but for Isaiah Thompson, a guy who has always dreamed of going to Purdue because his brother PJ played there, 3 years of which were spent with major minutes in the rotation. A tough break there to get stripped and then pick up the foul.
And that was great defense from Franz Wagner there, having active hands.
Quick change for Michigan. It's David DeJulius in now for Eli Brooks. On the Purdue side, it's Boudreau, Eastern. Recently checked in Proctor. Down low, it's Williams. And in the corner, Isaiah Thompson. Michigan, it's Simpson being hedged on again. Swings. Johns could have shot it from up top. Now it's Wagner. Does shoot it from the corner. Gets it to go from the corner. A 3-ball from Franz Wagner. And Michigan now out in front, 13-10 with just under 12 and a half to go.
You're starting to see Michigan gain some confidence on the offensive end because they're shooting the ball. They understand that they need to shoot, not just attack the basket like they were earlier on.
Michigan doing a good job switching all the dribble handoffs 1 through 4 up top. It's Williams now, a right-hand hook over Teske. Floats that one in. A tough shot, good to contest by Teske, but a bitter finish by the sophomore from Chicago, Illinois. You know, for Trayvion Williams, too, a local guy. He went to high school in Michigan, but the Wolverines never recruited him, so I'm sure a little extra special when he gets buckets against the home state team. Johns now up top, 11 on the shot clock, just under 12 minutes. Johns now a look in the corner, thought better of it. Teske now to Wagner. Wagner, deep 3-ball off the back rim. Long rebound to Julius, nearly tipped it out. Instead, tipped that one right to Trayvion Williams. And Purdue now with a chance back the other way, trailing by just a single point.
And almost a miscommunication there, almost threw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, Williams playing a dangerous game on the perimeter. His man wasn't even looking. It's Eastern now looking to post up the smaller Simpson, about 5 inches shorter, in fact, but instead he slings that one out of bounds. We're going to head now to our second media timeout. 11:24 on the clock. Michigan in the lead, 13-12.
Eastern is trying to do too much. He's trying to do too much with that pass. Generally, cross-court passes are not a good idea. Most of the time, they're going to be intercepted, especially when you have to laser beam them over like that, the way he just did. Eastern has had a tough time scoring the ball, so I'm sure that's why he's looking to pass the ball, because he doesn't have quite as much confidence as he may have used to scoring the ball. But he needs to take his time, be patient, dribble the ball, find a good, solid pass, and just play smart basketball. That's it.
Yeah, and in addition to the offensive woes, rather in the way of scoring, you said it's been the passing as well. It's been
and the turnovers.
Some struggles, exactly, with turnovers, a lack of intensity and focus, and that actually resulted in him being benched for about 3 games earlier in the year. Purdue has mixed and matched their lineup a bunch. He actually ended up getting back in the starting role on December 17th against Ohio. He's been in it ever since. He said it really rejuvenated his mind, got him locked in once again, but on that play, a relatively boneheaded mistake, trying to make a skip pass through the defense rather than over it. A little too hot to handle for his teammate on the perimeter.
And for Coach Painter, it's always a tough decision to bench a guy who you know is more than capable of being a quality starter at this level, but he's just not producing the way he used to. And so that can be tough for a coach to bench a guy and then bring it back, because you don't know if that's going to hurt his confidence in the long run or if that's going to rejuvenate him, like you said, and give him more energy and more confidence to say, hey, I need to step up my game. I'm not cutting it. I'm not playing well enough. I need to work harder in practice, get my game up, and so that's the effect that benching him had. So it ended up being a good decision from Matt Painter. And actually, we're going to see the way this continues to play out. Nothing is decided yet. It's only been a few games since he's come back as the starter. So we're going to see. Obviously, he's still making some boneheaded errors, some ill-advised turnovers in the first half of this game. So we're going to look for him to slow down with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and speaking of Purdue upperclassmen who have been struggling, that's been the case for Matt Harms when he has showed up at Michigan in the past. Namely, last year, it was a 76-57 loss for Purdue. Michigan really ended up pulling away late in that one, but Carson Edwards and Ryan Klein had 60% of the team's points, and for Harms, he was only out there for 19 minutes. Coach Painter really couldn't trust him out on the floor, picked up a paltry 5 points and 2 rebounds, and even tonight, in 7 total minutes, has not registered shooting the basketball. His only stat, a defensive rebound. I guess he's got 2 blocks on the defensive end as well. We saw that quickness earlier, but on the offensive end, it's almost a case of them not trusting him. He really has only touched the ball once or twice on the offensive end, despite having Brandon Johns on him, who is about 5 or 6 inches shorter than he in the post.
That's right, and for a guy like Harms, obviously he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. He's young and he's super tall. He's not filled out muscle-wise. So I always say, wherever you can't produce on the court, find another strength where you can help your team out in any way. Obviously, he's not touching the ball so much on the offensive end, but he has 2 blocks early on in this game. He's saying, hey, I'm not going to touch the ball on the offensive end because maybe the matchups don't work out for me so well with John Teske. or Brandon Johns, but I'm going to play defense, and I'm not going to let anybody, attack this rim on me. We saw Brandon Johns attack the rim earlier, and he swatted his shot. So make your presence known wherever you can, and that's going to be the message to Matt Harms here.
Small change for Michigan now. It's Austin Davis, big country, into the game for John Teske. Davis come on as of late. Colin Castleton hasn't really played all that much. Now Johns from the corner, no good off the back rim. A foul inside that one. Going to go against Austin Davis, big country, who just checked in. And, despite the foul on him, Davis has played a huge role as of late in the 4 past games he's played. He's played in 4 out of the last 5, so not a consecutive streak, but still in those games he has played at least 10 minutes. In all 4 of those games as well, he has scored at least 7 points, so Davis really coming on as there's an offensive foul. More struggles, really another boneheaded mistake against Nigel Eastern, but for Davis, making a major impact, and simultaneously we've seen Colin Castleton just about relegated to more so of a bench role as the redshirt junior Davis has really stepped up lately.
And if you go back a couple months to the start of the season, Austin Davis wasn't really being talked about. He wasn't in anybody's conversation about being relevant in any sort in any way for this Michigan team this season. But so far he's come on. Juwan Howard has believed in him, and as a result, Colin Castleton has not seen the floor as much.
And how about that, Austin Davis? It won't register in the box score, but a perfect screen to free up Franz Wagner. Wagner then laid it in. Now 15-12 Michigan, 10.5 to go in this one. Wolverines still switching ball screens. David DeJulius got lost. Lucky his man didn't torch him. Now his man almost got the ball back to Julius. Good hands on the recovery. Eric Hunter now up top. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 10-21. Hunter looking to drive. Davis, good defense. Hunter had to hesitate. Now up to Boudreau. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Boudreau step back. That ball might have gotten tipped. It's short off the rim. Rebound. Williams flips it back up. And a second chance opportunity for Trayvon Williams, the sophomore, once again from Michigan, showing off against his former state team.
And with Teske out of the game, that's what you're missing. You're going to give up those second chance points because you don't have that big body down low. Obviously, we saw Austin Davis just come in here and immediately get that offensive foul on the rebound, but I don't have a problem with fouls like that from Austin Davis. He's coming in to get rebounds, and that's his job.
Other end, Brandon Johns went up soft. Could have dunked that one home, instead did not. Now can't find his man on defense. Boudreau, a wild spin cycle opportunity. He just threw that one away. It's now Wagner up top. Wagner, 2 steps, nearly traveled, slammed it home instead. Franz Wagner through traffic to give Michigan a 17-14 lead with 9.5 to go.
And it's funny because early on in this game, we saw reckless turnover from Michigan leading to fast break points for Purdue. Now it's kind of flipped. Reckless turnovers on the offensive end for Purdue leading to fast break points for Michigan.
Purdue working hard to get Treyvion Williams a touch inside, but it's tough when the defense sags off so far against Eastern. Williams now drives, put it on the deck, laid it in, and now going to have an opportunity at the free throw line to knot this one up. How about that? The fleet feet from the big man who usually likes to work down on the block.
And that was great recognition from Williams, seeing that he's being guarded by a slower Austin Davis with Teske out of the game. So he saw that opening and he took one big step, got to the rim, and at that point, once you have the step on him, it's hard to recover.
Yeah, that was impressive. Treyvion Williams really been working on that face-up game, but we haven't seen much of it. Like we said, almost all of his work down on the block, just about an exclusive post player as Colin Castleton secures the rebound. He's into the game, got about 6 minutes the other night against Michigan State, speaking to that relegated role in favor of Austin Davis. Davis now working around the high key, looks to get a touch, instead screens to Julius. Looking to drive, he's got 2 men on him, goes underneath, defenders trailing. DeJulius circling, flips up top, Davis secures and lays it in from underneath. The up and under from Austin Davis. Last night over at Duke, Cassius Stanley had 2 incredible dunks. It looked like DeJulius thought that Austin Davis was Cassius Stanley, different levels of athleticism, but Davis a nifty move to lay that one in off the glass.
And that was also great patience from David DeJulius, who early on in the season seemed to be having a lot more offensive output. Since then, he's kind of slowed down a little bit, but great patience, found the right pass, and Austin Davis finished the basketball.
8:20 left in the first quarter, rather half. Michigan up 19-18. Eric Hunter swished that one home in the mid-range, now picks up Xavier Simpson, top of the key. Swing over to DeJulius. 17 seconds, encroaching that 8-minute mark, and the next media timeout. DeJulius, a great flare screen to get a catch inside Castleton. Looked like he walked with it. Messing around inside, he did walk. Ruled the near referee. The fans behind us certainly in agreement. Several Purdue fans lining their way through the maize and blue of the arena. They were getting upset with that one. And, for Colin Castleton, he could have gone straight up with that one from the mid-range, but just not feeling comfortable enough, looked to drive it and instead got caught in no man's land and ended up walking.
And that will be a good shot for Colin Castleton, catching the ball right there in the middle of the paint. no need to put the ball on the ground, just one little floater. Put it up there. You're already in the paint. Those are the close-in shots that he's known for taking, that he should be taking. So surprised that he put the ball on the ground there.
Hunter blew a layup, a great contest. Now it's Nunez from downtown. Nowhere close. That was an ugly shot from Adrian Nunez. Barely hit the backboard, other side Stefanovic. In and out, great rebound, Austin Davis, powerful to get the board over the 6'9" Aaron Wheeler. Simpson now back the other way. We are now down to 7.5 minutes to go. Simpson weaving around a ball screen. Castleton in the mid-range, thought about facing up, instead tries to back down. Aaron Wheeler, Castleton left hook, flips it in. Colin Castleton, a little bit of finesse with the left hand.
And he was up there against the undersized Wheeler, recognized that he could have faced up and shot the ball in that short corner there, but he decided to back into him. That's because he knew he had the size advantage, and he slowly got a much better, higher percentage shot.
Harms had the smaller Xavier Simpson inside, instead bumped by Davis, but an offensive foul called against Matt Harms. Just a little bit too much lower body thrusting around down in the key. And, you know, we spoke when he checked in about the impact that Austin Davis has made in his past few games. How about this performance tonight?
Well, he does the little things, and he's a hustler. He might not have, 25 points and 10 assists and 12 rebounds, but he's going to do the little things that don't show up on a stat sheet. He's going to dive for the loose ball. He's going to take the charge. He's going to step up, a big 7'3" frame and take that charge. That's not something that a lot of people are willing to do or even able to do. Austin Davis, that's what you're going to get from him. He's an experienced, older player. He's been around, and he understands what he needs to do to help his team. He's doing whatever he needs to do to help this team.
Yeah, Austin Davis, they don't call him Big Country for nothing. Although standing 6'10", a 7'2" wingspan, he's got a size 18 shoe. A mammoth of a man down low. I mean, you saw that screen, and it really is tough to describe a screen, but I mean, this was picture perfect from Davis, and combined with the wide physique, Davis just about obliterated his man and enabled Franz Wagner to get that wide open layup just a few plays ago. And for Davis the other day, speaking to doing the little things, Coach Howard said in the press conference, Austin is the type of guy who just comes to work every day and just does his job.
That's right, and doing your job starts with knowing your job. And Austin Davis knows his job. He knows what he needs to do. He's been around, like I said. He knows what he needs to do, and he comes to work every day. He has a consistent mentality, and he doesn't get too far up or too far down. He stays level-headed. He stays consistent, and that's what you want. That's what you want from like a veteran player like Austin Davis, who is not going to be the face of the team or the star of the team, but he knows he comes in and he does his job, just like Juwan Howard said. You love to see that from a guy like Austin Davis, who wasn't getting a whole lot of minutes or even supposed to get a lot of minutes early on.
And for Austin Davis, it's interesting. I believe it was now 2.5 years ago, back when he was still primarily working with the scout team. I think it was actually now 3 years ago, during his redshirt year when he was working with the scout team. An article came out where John Beulein was effusive in his praise for Davis and just about hyped him up to be the next great Michigan big man. They talked about his nimbleness for that size, the athleticism, the intelligence, really had all the factors. And, from what it sounded like, John Beulein made him out to be a guy who, with 3 to 4 years of development in this Michigan program, had the ability to be a first-round pick. And, we've seen him in spurts throughout his career. There have been times where he has excelled. There have been times where he has looked just honestly utterly lost on the court. He's been rapidly pulled. It's been a very kind of up and down career for Davis, but this is what it means to be a Michigan man, talking about going to work every day and just busting your butt to get on the floor, do anything for your team, whether it be working in practice to make the other guys better or actually contributing on the floor as he has done tonight. Just impeccable what Austin Davis has been able to provide these past few times out for the Michigan Wolverines.
And you love to see him finally getting minutes because he's paid his dues. And he's been around, like you said. John Beulein said he needed a few years of development before he could start to really contribute. And with Beulein still here last year, he wasn't seeing the floor, even despite Beulein saying that when he was a redshirt freshman. So you love to see Juwan Howard come his first year as head coach and recognize the talent that he has. Even being an older player, he's been around, and he's giving him playing time and letting him do what he does, being a Michigan man, like you said.
Absolutely. Lineups now as we're back to the action. Under 7 minutes, Michigan leading 21-18. Colin Castleton up top. He swings to the corner. Eli Brooks airballed that one way over the basket. That one Brooks' second shot of the game. First from deep. nowhere close. Lineups, Michigan, DeJulius, Nunez, Castleton, Teskey, Brooks. On the other side for Purdue, it's Wheeler, Hunter, Thompson, Williams, and Stefanovic. Now it is on the far side, Aaron Wheeler trying to navigate, thought he had Colin Castleton beat baseline, instead bounced it off his foot. A tough pill to swallow for the Purdue offense that now has a whopping 9 turnovers early in this one.
You know, we've seen Adrian Nunez miss a shot badly, and then we just saw Eli Brooks also miss a shot badly. These are two guys that have been struggling to score the basketball. Obviously, Adrian Nunez started the year in the starting lineup. He's since been demoted to the bench, but regardless, he's still getting minutes and struggling to score the basketball. These guys are struggling to hit their shots, but they got to keep shooting. And we're going to see Eli Brooks maybe shoot here. No, but, you know.
Thought better of it. He pumped, and now it's back to DeJulius. He's got Thompson on him, looking to go to work. DeJulius, a little bit of hand fighting. He's grabbed from behind by Isaiah Thompson. That one now just the 5th team foul on Purdue, so a ways away from the bonus here with 6:14 left to go in the half. Michigan still leading 21-18. The offense has dried up a little bit, and it's interesting. Purdue is actually shooting 53% from the floor. They haven't made a 3. They haven't made a free throw. Still 53% from the floor as there is a push-off on David DeJulius, an offensive foul, a turnover there, and, you know, turnovers really the story of this game. Now 15 combined.
You know, you just mentioned they haven't been shooting the ball from the outside, and Stefanovic is the guy who usually is known for being the sharpshooter from the outside. He just drew that offensive foul. That's the last thing you need to be doing as Michigan. Give that guy confidence. As soon as he gets a little bit of confidence, then he's going to start shooting it from the outside, and it's only a 3-point game. That could mean trouble for Michigan.
Hunter missed from the mid-range. Wolverines getting that one back. Eric Hunter Jr. now 3 for 6 from the floor. He's up to 6 points, but 4 of those shots have been tough, contested mid-range looks. If you're Coach Painter, are you okay with that because he's a talented player and they're going in? Or are you trying to revert things to looking for the 3 ball and trying to get better opportunities that are just a step or 2 further back?
Well, I think right now you're definitely in this game, right? You're only down by 3 points.
Turnover. Stefanovic now back on the other end, lays that one up. A foul, though, against Nunez. Looked like Nunez stayed vertical, but a good job by Stefanovic to lower that shoulder just enough and draw the contact.
And I was saying, you know, they're in this game. There's no need to take a step back and say, hey, we're going to shoot from the outside because we haven't been shooting from the outside, and that's our strong suit typically so far this season. They're in the game. So far, they're working. They're getting to the free throw line. They're playing active defense, getting fast break points. As long as that's working and they're staying in the game, they don't need to switch up their offensive plans until things start going downhill.
And the usually sure shooting Stefanovic misses that first one from the line. Purdue now still stuck in a 2-minute, 48-second scoring drought with 5:43 left to go in this first half. Michigan still leading 51-18. We haven't seen points from them in a few minutes either. Things have dried up, but Stefanovic sinking that second free throw there. Purdue now back within 2 as Michigan looks to go to work.
And that's what they're going to continue to do, is just play active defense and try and, you know, tip the ball and create fast break points.
3-guard look now for Michigan. Brooks tried to drive baseline. Great help by Matt Harms. A beautiful looking rotation ball now up top. DeJulius looking to work, spinning around, trying to be crafty with it. Flips that one up with the left. He's smacked in the face, fouled. The ball did not go in, but David DeJulius now a chance. You know, I honestly thought he traveled with the ball there. It looked like he took 4 or 5 side steps when he was knifing through the lane. We can watch it there. It did look like he got a third one down, but with so much traffic down in the lane, the referee unable to see that one, instead calling the foul, as on that one, Matt Harms just about swatted David DeJulius' face rather than the basketball.
And DeJulius had a series of very impressive dribbling moves at the top of the key there before he did, I think, travel. I think you're right, once he got down for further paint, but when that paint is clogged, like you said, it's tough for referees to see that little quick sidestep that helped him get, you know, that shot off.
A crafty guard and a crafty move as DeJulius hit the first. He now hits the second a little bit smoother on the second.
I'd like to see more of that from David DeJulius. He's capable of it.
Yeah, David DeJulius, a guy who has been very aggressive. It's interesting with him. A note on him, he was scoreless in the opener and since has scored in every single game. Granted, there have been a few games where he has really not showed up all that much, but he's been aggressive, and that's what matters for a team that coming into the year was in search of bench scoring. On the other side now, Treyvion Williams flips that one up, a turnaround jumper, a good move. And, you know, Williams, another guy who was expected to be a bench scorer, speaking of bench scorers for Purdue, instead inserted into the starting lineup, and he has been a tank. You know, last year, he averaged a whopping 20.3 points per 40 minutes. That would have been second on the team. Granted, limited minutes, but now this year, showing off the skill that enabled him to pull off such a statistic. Michigan side now 9 seconds on the shot clock. Castleton on the high post, swings. DeJulius thought about shooting, pump, now goes up with it. That one front rim. David DeJulius probably should have shot the first. A tougher look on the second with the defender able to close it. Now Purdue a chance to tie this one up or take the lead, only trailing 23-21 with 4:25 to go. Harms now elbow extended. That one off the back rim. Simpson barely able to corral that one as he now brings it back the other way, once again trickling towards that 4-minute mark. 23-21. We haven't seen many points aside from free throws in these past few minutes, but Michigan now over 3 minutes in their field goal drought. Getting a look from three. It's Brooks blocked from the corner. A good defensive effort by Sasha Stefanovic, who hasn't seen anything go on the offensive end, but has been doing a strong job locking up on defense.
And it looks like Harms is injured here, holding his right knee, hobbling off the court. But you're right, and you like to see Eli Brooks continuing to shoot the ball, David DeJulius shooting the ball. These are guys that are continuing to build their confidence. Eli Brooks and David DeJulius, both guys that haven't really had a whole lot of experience at the collegiate level until this season. We're only around the midpoint of the season, so they don't have a whole lot of experience at this level, still trying to figure some things out. And so they're going to continue to shoot. They're going to continue to have their struggles, but just watch them, keep them developing. And Juwan Howard has done a good job of letting them develop, keeping them on the court and not making them feel bad about their mistakes too much.
Michigan was back in zone, an easy entry pass down low to Trayvion Williams, but a foul instead on John Teske, cheating a little bit for that steal. And we're going to get the media timeout with that. And the most glaring stat as of now, Michigan letting it fly from three, but for a team that is usually elite from down there on the year, they are shooting just under 38%. And that's a great number, especially with the college line being moved back and numbers decreasing across the board in college basketball. Michigan 2 of 11 from three, Purdue 0 of 3, just 3 attempts. Very surprising for them, but then collectively the team's 2 of 14 from three-point range, a collective 14% in a building where recently we have seen teams just shoot the lights out, be it Michigan or their opponents.
And we haven't really talked about Isaiah Livers, except for the pregame, but that's what they're missing from Isaiah Livers. Isaiah Livers is a big body that is mainly their three-point shooter when he's out there. Obviously, he's not playing tonight, and you can tell right out of the gate, 2 for 11 from three-point range, and they're missing him. They're relying on guys like David DeJulius and Eli Brooks and Franz Wagner, who actually did hit one, to shoot that three ball. And they're only up by 2 points. It makes you wonder if they had Isaiah Livers in that lineup, would this be this game would not be as close.
Absolutely. Livers had been racking up the points before that injury. He'd had double figures in 3 consecutive games before being injured against Presbyterian. And, for a guy who was expected to make the jump after starting a few games his freshman year, coming off the bench and contributing in major ways last season, what happened this season, just about unexpected, shooting a whopping 50% from 3, just about unheard of, and on high volume too. So, like you said, his loss certainly being felt by a team that is down to a paltry 2 of 11 from downtown tonight.
And it's certainly being felt, and because you can see that they're not succeeding as much without him from behind the three-point line, that means they have to score in other ways. That means they have to give the ball to a guy like Austin Davis and John Teske down low. And they managed to do that. They're still going to get their shots up because they have to keep the Purdue defense honest. They still have to attempt those three-point shots. But the main bulk of their scoring is going to be attacking the rim. We saw David DeJulius attack the rim. That was only one time he did that, but he got to the line. And that's what they need to keep doing, is attacking that rim. And not just David DeJulius, but they can all do that with Isaiah. And with Isaiah Livers out of the lineup, that is what they need to do.
Yeah, for Michigan, only 3 free throw attempts tonight. They've hit all of them, and on the Purdue side, only 4. So both teams really content to use the mid-range or beyond. Not much action in and around the hoop. We've seen those few shooting fouls, but like you said, for the most part here on 90s Night, as we're getting a little bit of an AOL mocking on the video board. The teams have been playing a little bit old school with that mid-range game, but getting to their coaches as the teams are in the huddles here, a very interesting tidbit. So in doing research for this game, I had noticed that the years Matt Painter played at Purdue were 1990 to 1993. Do you know another Big Ten coach who happened to play in the Big Ten during those same years who might have competed against Matt Painter? A helpful hint, he very well could be in the building tonight.
Let me guess, Juwan Howard.
I was going to say, does it rhyme with Juwan Joward? Yes, Juwan Howard and Matt Painter, quite the experience with one another. For their careers, Juwan Howard holds a 3-1 edge. The first time they faced off, over at Purdue. Matt Painter's Boilermakers won that one handily. However, since Juwan Howard on a 3-game win streak, granted, it has been a little over 25 years since the two faced off, so, I mean, the game has changed. The volume of three-pointers different. The uniforms looking nothing alike. Juwan Howard played a myriad of years in the NBA. Matt Painter has been handling the sideline for Purdue for quite a while, so, things have changed, but these two still very competitive with one another. These teams, both very competitive mainstays atop the Big Ten Conference. Now it's Wheeler, a 3-ball, that one no good. Simpson working hard to box out. Eastern got that one back, swings up top. Stefanovic, finally a good look, and rolls that one in off the front rim. Got the friendly bounce.
And that's the first one to fall for Stefanovic. That's got to scare you. If I'm Coach Howard, that's got to scare me. All he needed was one little roll to get his confidence going, and now he's going to keep shooting that ball, and we'll see if he continues to connect. And that's going to, and Michigan struggling to shoot the ball from 3. That's going to be in trouble.
Pass inside, Davis with the left hand. Austin Davis, a really great job. Michigan, we've seen it a lot. The roll and replace on the offensive side against the hedge. Send the corner player high. Send the roll man down. The roll and replace working wonders over on the Purdue side now. They're looking to get some of their own offense going. They're trailing by 1. Pass inside. That one to Stefanovic. He ends up bungling the pass. The ball winds up out of bounds back to the Wolverines with 2:50 to go in this competitive first half where Michigan only leads by a single point despite Purdue having 10 turnovers.
That's the pass from Michigan that Xavier Simpson is looking for. When they do hedge, he knows that there's 2 men on him and there's an open man down low. So he's quickly doing that quick hook pass that Simpson has. That's his signature pass, also his signature shot. He's slinging it down there to Austin Davis, Don Teske, whoever's in the game, for an easy layup.
Purdue had numbers. Eastern pulled up off the turnover. Now inside to Trayvion Williams. He's 6 of 7 on the night, looking to go to work against Big Country. Williams opts for the right hand, hits with the right hand. A nice little jump hook from in tight for Williams, and he has gotten everything he's wanted, kind of reminiscent of when the Wolverines squared off against Luka Garza here at the Chrysler Center.
And Trayvion Williams has obviously cemented himself as their go-to scorer tonight, similar to the way Luka Garza was back when Iowa was playing in this building.
Johns drives baseline, gets a bump, swatted by Williams. Williams working hard on the offensive and defensive end. Williams now running the floor, had a lane. Hunter just didn't see him, though. Could have been an easy deuce to give Purdue a larger lead. The Boilermakers up 26-25 right now with just under 2 minutes to go, working the ball around the perimeter. 17 on the shot clock. On the perimeter, Franz Wagner, great hands to strip Eric Hunter. It's Simpson now to the hole. A nifty finish. A great job to evade Eric Hunter's hands on the defensive side and flipping that one in off the glass. The spin cycle doing wonders for the senior point guard for the Wolverines.
And that's his first basket of the night, which is surprising. He's been on that court. He hasn't really shot the ball, either from the outside or gone to the rack. He's really just been focused on passing the ball. So he has 5 assists in the game. Obviously, that the stats support that. And for Purdue, it scares you when he starts to attack the rim and score, because Simpson is capable of scoring in bunches. He may not score a lot, but when he starts to score, he scores in bunches. So when he gets that layup, he starts to gain his confidence, and he could look to start shoot the ball from the outside and even attack the rim a lot more.
Absolutely. Simpson certainly renowned for his passing. Now with those 5 assists, up to 560 for his career. He is now 15 assists away from reaching second place. On top of that, his 8.9 assists per game this season, second in the NCAA, certainly on pace to hit and pass that mark tonight. But like you said, the scoring, it can come in bunches. The thing that most comes to mind for me is that Northwestern game last year where he was just raining threes against the Wildcats, and they were daring him to take them, and he was punishing them all game long. This year, his 11.4 points per game, his career high, and on top of that, Simpson, a workhorse, now playing in his 131st consecutive game for the Wolverines. He has never missed a game in his Michigan career.
Simpson is the ultimate Iron Man. I mean, he's a Michigan man. He's an Iron Man. He wants to be out there, and he's out there every single game. He literally has not missed a game. He's a senior in Michigan. He has not missed a game.
Pass inside Williams, 7 seconds. He's got Davis on him again. Williams looks to go to work, spins inside with the left, bumps Davis, hits it off the glass. Trayvion Williams just too strong now, 8 of 9 from the floor. He's got 16 of Purdue's 28 points as the Boilermakers lead 28-27. We now tick under 1 minute here in this riveting first half. Simpson now up top, 18 seconds, gets a screen from Davis, knifes inside, swings Johns. He's got to shoot that. He does shoot it, and he hits it from long range. Brandon Johns saying Isaiah Livers, who?
this is kind of what we expected in this matchup, a close matchup at halftime. These are two teams that have coming off 2 bad losses, trying to redeem themselves, and they're similar teams in the Big Ten. We expected this.
Hunter now working inside, another mid-range shot for the sophomore, air ball, but who else is there to fill but Williams? He ended up missing the layup. Ball batted around, out of bounds, off of Williams. A tough break for Purdue, now 19 and a half seconds. Michigan likely going to hold for the final shot as Juwan Howard calls timeout. Michigan leading 30-28. And, you know, for Treyvion Williams, it seemed like a gimme down there underneath. The ball was just about gifted to him off of the Eric Hunter air ball. Caught it straight in the breadbasket. Went up relatively strong too, but just a little bit too much mustard from the sophomore.
That's right, and that's no worries for Trayvion Williams. He's been carrying the team on his back. He has 16 points tonight out of 28, so more than half of the team's points. And he's going to continue to shoot. He's not going to score all the baskets. But I do want to get back to what we were talking about with Juwan Howard and Coach Matt Painter. They played together in the 90s. They played against each other in the 90s. And now, obviously, Matt Painter has been a head coach far longer than Juwan Howard. Obviously, his first year as a head coach at the collegiate level. But Matt Painter, his career as head coach versus Michigan is a exact 500 record against Michigan, 13-13 in his career as head coach against Michigan. So he's either going to go below 500 or above 500 tonight.
And as for Purdue, the importance of this game, they have not beaten a top 20 team on the road since February 2017. They're also looking to avoid back-to-back Big Ten losses. If they do happen to lose this one, it'll be the first time since February 2018. Simpson now ball up top, 8 seconds. Teske coming for the ball screen. Simpson knifing into the lane, up with the left hand, easy with the left, lays it in. Purdue just gets it in, seconds left, can't even get off a shot. Isaiah Thompson tried the heave, but it wouldn't have counted if it gone. It was way wide anyways, and Michigan now jumping out to a 32-28 halftime lead. This lead now their largest of the hotly contested half.
And we were just talking about Simpson scoring in bunches and how he's so crafty with that basketball. He can pretty much in and out dribble, any kind of dribble to get by somebody in such a tight space. We saw him do it twice in the last minute of that half. And so, give Michigan a 4-point lead at halftime, they should be feeling pretty good. And Xavier Simpson should be feeling pretty good.
Must have seen that move from David DeJulius earlier, recognizing the ability to snake through the Purdue defense. That hedge just a little bit wide. It allows the defender to split that gap, and Simpson did that beautifully there. And it's tough, too, with a guy like Teske who can stretch the defense off of the hedge. There is inherently going to be a scramble. And when there's a roll man, everybody tends to crash to the middle, but when the guy can pop, then it turns into which side did he go to, and which of us two defenders who did happen to hedge have to go find him in that confusion. Xavier Simpson, a great job to find his way like a heat-seeking missile to the basket to then lay it in with the left.
That's a trend that we've seen in the game of basketball really at any level the past few years is, big men used to dominate down low. Nowadays, big men need to have that outside shot. We've seen a lot of big men. You mentioned Luka Garza at Iowa, developing that outside shot. With their size, you wouldn't think they need to do that, but it keeps the defense on their feet. You don't know that they're going to roll to the basket every time. And like you said, Simpson, being able to have that lane open because he has a big man that can pop, and it keeps the defense honest. That move did look similar to David DeJulius. The only difference is Simpson has much better body control. We saw him have an uncontested layup after that fancy move, because he has great body control and he knows where to place his body to keep that defense behind him, whereas David DeJulius was actually fading away, ended up at the free throw line, but his shot was highly contested and he had to throw up kind of an awkward shot to get that shot off.
No doubt. A quick look at the box score before we go to break on 90s night. Trayvion Williams throwing it back to the 90s, a little reminiscent of those old school bad boy Pistons, the old school way of the NBA, banging down low, looking to get tough baskets in and around the net. He is 8 of 10 from the floor. He's got 16 points on the night, 16 of 28 for the Boilermakers, who trailed the Wolverines by 4. Elsewhere for the team, it's Sasha Stefanovic with 6 points on 2 of 5 shooting. He's 1 of 3 from deep. Wolverines have done a great job containing him thus far. Eric Hunter Jr., the only other scorer for the Boilermakers with 6 points himself. He's done a lot of his work in the mid-range. So on the Purdue side, if you're Coach Painter, especially with Matt Harms, one of your better players, and your actual leading scorer now injured, we'll see when we get back in the second half how he comes out, whether he does come out. Are you concerned that only 3 people have scored, or are you okay with that because of their skill and their ability to do it consistently.
Well, if I'm Matt Painter, I'm definitely not okay with that, especially if Trayvion Williams is not going to be able to return to this game. Obviously, they've heavily relied on him so far, so if he's not coming back, they're going to need in trouble.
Well, Williams is okay. It's Harms who's injured.
Okay,
yeah, Williams has just been putting the team on his back, so he might be a little hurt from that.
Well, even with Harms out, you still want to, as Coach Painter, you still want to get other guys involved. A guy like Eric Hunter Jr. has been great as of late, getting his momentum going as this season progresses. He only has 6 points in this game. He's done better than that as of late. You need to give him the chance to score more. If you have more scoring coming from many different sources, not just Williams, then Stefanovic has struggled. You get these guys more involved. That's how you're going to get back into this game.
For Purdue, a final note, the team's shooting 50% from the floor. Granted, they've only attempted 5 3-pointers, of which they've made 1, but on top of that, a whopping 11 turnovers in 20 minutes. For the year, the Boilermakers only average 11.9, so just about a single turnover away from matching and then eclipsing their season mark. Over on the Michigan side, the Wolverines, 32 points, a lot more democratic in the way of scoring for the Wolverines. They have had 8 of the 9 players see the floor score. Davis, Castleton, DeJulius, Brooks, Johns Jr., Wagner, Teskey, and Simpson have all gotten a scoring opportunity at some point in this game. DeJulius, 1 of 2 to not score a basket. He did his work at the free throw line. The only scoreless Wolverine, Adrian Nunez, leading the team in scoring for the game of those democratic results. It's John Teskey with 8. He's leading the team in rebounds as well. He has 1 rebound. The team has 5 team rebounds. An interesting little stat there. A lot of that off of missed baskets where Purdue has just kind of knocked the ball out of bounds off of loose balls. And then Xavier Simpson, like you said, a maestro with the ball in his hands, an incredible passer. He's got 6 assists to lead the team.
And that is a terrible stat, only having 5 rebounds and a half for the team.
Well, it's 15 team rebounds, but 5 of those rebounds are allotted to the team.
Oh, I see.
Because Purdue has really done a poor job securing the basketball inside, to Michigan's benefit, no doubt, but still it seems to reflect more on Purdue rather than Michigan attacking the basketball.
And I'm sure that was one of the focuses going into the game for Coach Painter, that he was stressing in the locker room. This is a big team. They like to rebound the ball. We need to protect our own rim. We need to box out and get those boards. But what you're saying, it's interesting, based on games this season up until this point, we would expect Purdue to be the team for the scoring to be more spread out, whereas tonight it's really not for them. Williams is carrying the load, and for a team like Michigan, usually it's 1 or 2 guys that carry that offensive output. This time it's more spread out, like you said. Every person who's entered the game, every player that's entered the game has contributed offensively. Not typically what you see, so these teams have kind of swapped their trends so far this season in this game. Purdue, relying on Trayvion Williams to scoring the basketball, and Michigan spreading it around, like letting everybody chip in.
No doubt, and for Michigan, a team that really struggled to put shots down early in that half. A nice sign for their confidence. They closed the half, hitting their final 3 shots to take that 32-28 lead. With that, we're going to take a quick break here for halftime. We'll be back with you relatively shortly in about, call it 7 minutes or so. Once again, for Dan Levine, my name is Adam Rich. You are listening to WCBN Sports' coverage of number 19 Michigan men's basketball. Stick with us. We will be right back for the second half.
Welcome back now to the second half of action between Michigan and Purdue here in WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan basketball. I'm Alex Train, joined by Daniel Thompson for this second half. Michigan up 32-28 over Purdue at the break, but a pretty bumpy first half there. Purdue actually outshooting Michigan, at least in field goal percentage, which is very, very rare for them to be trailing when that occurs. The difference, turnovers, 11-8 Purdue, losing, you might say, the turnover battle to Michigan, and that's something both teams want to clean up at halftime.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, basically the second the Juwan Howard era started, Michigan lost that ball security and the discipline that they had of the Beeline era in exchange for faster paces offenses that usually light up the scoreboard more. But so 8 isn't super concerning for them like it might have been in the Beeline era, but this has just been a truly sloppy game. Watching that first half together, there were multiple moments where we just groaned thinking about how ugly this game has been at times. Right now, 32-28, the score is actually kind of surprisingly high given some of the ball movement we've been seeing in this one. And frankly, I don't expect it to get all that much cleaner. I mean, Purdue was close to their total point total from the last time they played, scoring 37 in Urbana-Champaign the last time they were on the court together. I'm not sure this game is going to get much cleaner.
No, and certainly the shooting woes will have to improve. For Michigan, at least from three-point range, they continued a dismal performance in East Lansing shooting-wise. A lot of people said maybe that is a road-specific problem. It's continued here tonight in a home game at Chrysler Center. 3 for 12 from three-point range are the Wolverines in that first half. Purdue 1 for 5. A bit surprising given Sasha Stefanovic, one of the better three-point shooters in the conference. He went 1 for 3 in that first half.
And that one was not a good-looking shot either.
No.
That spent some time on the rim and the backboard. Really, overall, not offensively a good game. And Livers, on the road, Michigan has struggled mightily shooting. And that happens to every college basketball team, but it's been alarming for Michigan. But missing Isaiah Livers in and of itself is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And they have a solid Big Ten opponent here coming to them, so that that's a good way to weather the storm. Traveling to Minnesota, if Livers is not ready for that on Sunday at 1 p.m., that will be an issue for this team. But they got to survive every game they can while their three-point output is not going to be great. There's a lot of other talented three-point shooters, but none of them take the same volume of shots as Livers, beside maybe Franz Wagner.
Trayvion Williams, 16 of Purdue's 28 points in that first half. Here we go, inbound to Xavier Simpson. Michigan starts their first possession. They had the possession arrow to begin the half. Passing around Wagner to an open Brandon Johns. His three-pointer off the mark, tipped around. John Teske went after it, but it's Williams that comes on down with it, and now up the court they come. Matt Harms was grasping his knee at one point in that first half. Have not seen him since then, and it's Williams who starts as the big for Purdue out there. He holds the ball, hands it off to Stefanovic. Outside, guarded by Brooks, passes it over to Eric Hunter Jr. Now over back to Williams at the elbow, already down to 5 on the shot clock. Backing in on Teske. He's going to go to the side, up and under, lays it up, no. Tipped around and out of bounds. That'll go off of Purdue. Nogel Eastern was the last to touch it. Michigan takes over 32-28, 19-13 to go in the game.
An acceptable defense there from Teske, but really not his best work. Just another opportunity and an instance of Purdue not finishing at the rim. Harms is still living in the shadow of Isaac Haas, I think, in West Lafayette, but he is a much better finisher than what we've seen from some of the Purdue big men tonight.
Wagner goes down to Teske at the block, passes it around to an open Simpson from the wing. His three-pointer rattles around and out now. 3 of 14 on the contest for Michigan from three-point range. They pass it around. Stefanovic open from 3. His shot a little short, and the rebound goes out of bounds. Tipped off of Nogel Eastern, and it's over to Michigan. So cold shooting from both teams here to begin the second half. Score the same as it was at halftime, 32-28, 18:40 to go in the game.
Yep, 1 for 4 now for Stefanovic, and frankly, 0 for 4 on good-looking shots. The one that went in was worse than a lot of shots that don't fall. They're going to have to find something going offensively.
Simpson to Brooks. He dribbles inside the arc. Now outside Wagner. His three-pointer rattles around and no good. Michigan has attempted 3 three-pointers here in the first minute 40 of this half and have missed all 3 of them. That was an open look from somebody who is supposed to be a good three-point shooter. Wagner has not been so far in his Michigan career. Now Eastern gets the ball. He drives around Johns, lays it up, and good. but it looks like they're waving off the basket. And they will be. It'll be an inbound instead. That's a bit of a concerning defense there from Brandon Johns, blown by Eastern.
And going back to that last Michigan possession, really every single possession of the half, Purdue has been daring Michigan to shoot threes. They are not tightly guarding that perimeter, and it's paid off for them so far.
Well, Michigan entered as a pretty good three-point shooting team, and especially at home and on neutral courts, they've been dead on, as there's an inbound pass and a knockdown jumper by Isaiah Thompson. 32-30, Wolverines on top. Simpson up to Eli Brooks as the first points of the half. They come 2 minutes in to the second stanza. Wagner across to Simpson. Pass inside, beautiful delivery there, and Wagner lays it in. That one set up by Xavier Simpson. That's now his 7th assist of the contest. Simpson averaging almost 9 assists per game, one of the best marks in the entire country. Purdue passes it around outside. Now attempting to dribble. Thompson now over to Stefanovic. Now baseline, Nogel Eastern backing in on Brandon Johns. His hook shot, no good, but Williams comes down with the rebound. Simpson trying to get in there. Teske swatted it from behind. Now getting it back as Williams lays it up and lays it in. The big man just stronger. And Teske, I think, got whacked in the groin. He is down, clutching his knees. And the ball went out of bounds. It'll stay with Michigan on the other end, but Teske's going to have to come out of this game, I think. Now he's trying to walk it off as he comes up half court. That took him about 30 to 35 seconds.
And no one on the bench is showing any urgency, like he needs to get replaced. Maybe Howard.
I think the referees are now signaling to the bench saying he either needs to come out or say he's okay. He says he's okay.
Yep, Juwan Howard didn't even consult any of his assistants or talk to any players to see if anyone was ready to go in right now for Teske. It looks like he's going to play through it. If he was whacked in the groin, probably something just you have to wait for the pain to reside, and then you're good to go. But
Simpson catches the inbound pass, 20 on the shot clock. Michigan 34, Purdue 32. Teske's got Wagner inside. He's got a height advantage over Eastern. Now kicks it back out. Teske's three, no good. Now tipped around down low. There's a foul called as several players went up for the rebound. I think that's going to go against Purdue. Brandon Johns was crashing the boards hard. Yep. It's going to go against Stefanovic, who was chasing down Johns from behind on the rebound, and Johns got whacked in the back, then came down hard. All 3 players fell to the floor. Simpson will now inbound from the baseline. They reset it to 20 on the shot clock. Michigan cannot buy a 3 right now. They get it into Brooks, over to Teske. Simpson fights off his man, gets the ball. He's going to dribble inside, kicks to the corner. They filter it around. Wagner open 3. He missed it. This crowd is getting restless as Franz Wagner misses that 3. He's now 1 for 5 on the game. Isaiah Thompson dribbles up. His shot, he got hit, and he'll get 2 free throws as he doesn't get it to fall.
And that was a waste of beautiful ball movement. I mean, that was a high-energy pass there from Xavier Simpson, making a quick stop and then rocketing that ball into the court for a bounce pass to the corner, and then ultimately finding a wide-open Franz Wagner who couldn't connect. I mean, 3 for 17 is just simply abysmal. No other way to put it.
Thompson goes up. His first goes through. 34-33. Thompson this season, the freshman from Zionsville, Indiana, not a good free throw shooter, but low volume.
Michigan is 3 for 3 from the charity stripe.
Yep. And the second goes through, so a good 2 for 2 there from Thompson. Evens the game at 34. 16:30 to go in the contest. Simpson dribbles it up. Watched there by Hunter. Gets the screen from Teske. They've got Franz Wagner wide open again. They go to Johns in the corner. His 3 doesn't even hit rim. You got to think Michigan's got to find a way to get inside.
And Purdue is leaving Franz Wagner wide open, and I think that's a mistake. This isn't going to carry on, I don't think, but maybe they're just banking on him getting in his own head right now, because it's been ugly shooting for Michigan. Another missed 3, and they're 1-6 right now.
Isaiah Thompson across to Hunter. Hunter tries to get around Eli Brooks. Now dribbling inside, Nogel Eastern. They kick it back out. Hunter wide open for 3. Johns had come over to help. Instead, it's Treyvion Williams who grabs the offensive board. Flips it back outside to Thompson. Blows by Simpson. His little floater is good. And Purdue takes the lead back, 36-34. Simpson will get up across half court. It's a 6-0 run for Purdue. Michigan has not scored in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Simpson across to Wagner, open for three. He holds off. Xavier dribbles inside, lowers the shoulder, and he's going to get called for an offensive foul. And we will head to the under-16 timeout with this Michigan team gasping for air right now and trailing 36-34, 15-17 to go in the game.
And I mean, Isaiah Livers' presence could not be any more missed right now. You talk about a guy who's having a great season, probably going to go pro at the end of it. At least that's the way I'm reading into what his years look like. And this is just, it kind of confirms how important he is to this team. Michigan has to find consistent shooting from someone else. They have a lot of guys who at least started the year over 400, but everyone's either been streaky or a low-volume shooter. It's really been Isaiah Livers, the one guy they could count on to put up big numbers every single game from beyond the arc. And Franz Wagner was the logical jump for who would be the next go-to guy. He is 1 for 5 from three right now. Brandon Johns Jr., 1 for 5. John Teskey's had to take three-point attempts because of this game. Hit the first one to open up scoring on the night, but now he's down to 1 for 3. It's very simple. I mean, Michigan has to make shots. Purdue is leaving the three wide open. And until it starts falling, Michigan's going to slip further and further behind in this game.
Yeah, well, the good news for Michigan, at least, is their defense is holding up well enough. There is the issue of the rebounds, as Treyvion Williams has 5 offensive rebounds and 12 total, 18 and 12 for Williams. And you got to wonder when the adjustments are going to come in that regard. Michigan's defense continues to hold strong, but like you said, the paint just being clogged, and until Michigan hits some wide open threes, that paint isn't going to open up. And they got to find a way to make something happen inside. And you look around, Wagner, half of his shots, threes. Teskey, almost half of his shots, threes. Brandon Johns, 5/8 of his shot, threes. Brooks, 2/3 of his shot, threes. And as a team, exactly 50% of their shots have been threes.
And Teskey got out to a very quick 8. Was it like 5 minutes into the game? He already had 8 points, and he has nothing to add to the score sheet, at least offensively, since then. Purdue is, I guess, calling Michigan's bluff right now, daring him to shoot threes. And yeah, Isaiah Livers could not get back any quicker right now for this team.
Well, you wonder if it means putting someone like a David DeJulius into this game could perhaps spark some offense. We saw something like that in the game against Oregon back in December.
You would have to think. I mean, Eli Brooks has been really solid defensively all year, and he's had flashes on offense. But when he struggles offensively, it gets ugly.
Yeah.
2 points in this one. David DeJulius has been a second win for Michigan in many cases coming off the bench. And frankly, I think he's earned putting himself in consideration for the starting shooting guard role. And right now, I think this is the time where Michigan needs him badly. We don't know who Juwan Howard is going to send out there to start this game from the under 16 point forward. And I think David DeJulius is exactly what Michigan would need right now.
Well, and before the contest against Michigan State, you look at the Wolverines, they had been a top 30 three-point shooting team in the country. And so, the issue is that this is their bread and butter, and when you just can't throw it in from the ocean, that becomes a problem. Purdue is going to get the ball on the inbound after that Simpson offensive foul. Michigan hasn't scored in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. And you look at the overall stats, Michigan is 11 of 18 on twos.
But right now, those are not even available with the way Purdue's playing defense.
Williams holds the ball, passes it over to Eastern. They spring Thompson for three, and he knocks it down, and Purdue leads by 5, 39-34. 15 minutes exactly remaining in the game. A 9-0 Purdue run over the last 2 minutes, and a sloppy pass trying to find Wagner, but they're going to hit Stefanovic with a foul.
And as badly as we've been dogging on Michigan for the three-point shooting, technically Purdue was worse, having just been 1 for 7, now 2 for 8. But the thing is, they were shooting far fewer threes, wasting far fewer possessions on three-pointers that were not falling, and that's why they're up right now, and they just extended it by finally hitting a three.
Inbound to Teskey, over to Brandon Johns. Johns looks at Simpson. Now he'll hold the ball, pass it over to Eli Brooks. Teskey comes over to give Brooks a hand. He finds Johns open in the corner. Johns doesn't want to take it. 5 on the shot clock. Johns inside, lays it up, lays it in. Michigan finally snaps the drought.
What a move. Brandon Johns Jr. being guarded by a much smaller defender, just uses that wingspan to dribble the ball and keep it where the defender could never reach it. Great finish, and Michigan finally ends the scoring drought.
They get it to Thompson, his three again, and he knocks it down. And another three-pointer from Isaiah Thompson. That bumps Purdue's percentage up mightily. 3 for 9 now on the game, with back-to-back three-pointers, made a 12-2 run over the last 3 minutes.
And that's just one Michigan's going to have to live with. Not a great look, but he nailed it.
Simpson dribbles inside, tries to find Johns, throws it, and it does go off Purdue. Michigan will keep it.
Simpson might have played that a bit too aggressively right there. That was a low percentage pass, I think. Ultimately, Purdue deflected that out of bounds. If it hit, it would have been an easy put away for Johns. Ultimately, no harm done.
Juwan Howard wanted Wagner to do the inbound. Simpson gets it. 5 already on the shot clock. Passes it over to Brandon Johns. His three-pointer is good. Finally, someone steps up and knocks one down. 2 for 6. Now on the game for Johns from three-pointer. Trims it back to a three-point game, 42-39. Isaiah Thompson with the ball, hands it to Eric Hunter. They're trying to do everything they can to spring Thompson free after he made those last 2 three-pointers. Dribbles into the lane with ease. His runner is too strong off the heel. Teskey the rebound. Simpson will bring it up. Michigan trailing by 3, 13-15 to go in the game. Xavier Simpson inside, tries to kick to the corner. Instead, it gets redirected to Teskey. An easy bunny, and he missed it from point-blank range. Now Purdue dribbles it up. Nogel Eastern tries to fire it around. Now Stevanovic gets inside, out of control. Pass over to Williams. He lost it. It seemed like he got fouled by Simpson. Instead, the ball is swatted out of the hands of Eastern, and it will stay with Purdue. Xavier Simpson pretty much landed on top of Treyvion Williams there, and no call came.
And this game has been a masterclass of what not to do when you hold the ball within 3 feet of the rim. I don't even think it's been that strong of defense. It's just been mistake after mistake. And Simpson could have easily been called for a foul there. Ultimately, I mean, Purdue, they have to have more going on possessions than that, because they have had many trips now where they've been able to bring the ball in right beneath the rim and just frankly do nothing with it.
Yeah. So Wheeler and Jihad Proctor check in for Purdue as that inbounds pass batted by Wagner for a second. Now gets it back, does Hunter. His shot from the key is off the mark, and coming away with the rebound there is Colin Castleton, who's now into the game for Teskey. But a really hesitant rebound. Simpson goes all the way up, the running hook shot, and it's good, 42-41.
Playing it a bit faster there for Michigan, and that shows some life to the offense as well. 5-0 run for the Wolverines.
And this crowd at Chrysler Center trying to will Michigan back to life. Williams holds it outside, gives it over to Proctor. He's going to pass it to Thompson outside on the wing, 10 on the shot clock. They've got Williams in the post, and he's got a big size advantage against Castleton, 5 on the shot clock. Now his pass over to the corner, a three-pointer is good, and one! Jihad Proctor, just a 27.8% three-point shooter on the season, knocks down a 3 and 1 as a really sloppy closeout that came late, landed on top of him. I wasn't sure who hit him there.
And just as Michigan was coming back into this one, cut it to a 1-point game, 5-0 run, and then the chance at a 4-point play is killing their momentum.
That's a foul on Simpson.
Purdue's hit 3 straight three-pointers.
Yep. They're now up a 4 of 10 on the game, 40%. And the free throw is off the mark by Proctor. Again, his shooting stats not great on the season. So a 4-point lead for the Boilermakers. DeJulius brings it up. They're going with a 2-guard lineup. And Franz, Wagner, and Johns in the game. Now a kick to the corner. Johns had it hit him in the face. Corrals it. Simpson now outside. Looks for the screen from Castleton. Doesn't want it. 7 on the shot clock. Over to DeJulius. His dribble drive in there. The floater is good. DeJulius creates some offense off the dribble there. 45-43, 11:35 to go in the game.
And what a perfect looking possession that was for DeJulius. Smooth dribbling and then finishes that shot on the run perfectly. He's been that spark that Juwan Howard was looking for when he reinserted him back into this game.
Isaiah Thompson in the key. His shot is off the mark, and they're going to call a foul on Simpson. The crowd not happy about that one. Tough to tell from our angle. Seemed like he got some ball at least. But we'll go to the under 12 media timeout with 11:20 to go here in the game.
And that's number 3 on Simpson. You got to wonder if he'll leave the game. And he plays so many minutes for this team. I don't know, with 11:20 to go, though, you probably have to give him a slight breather now that he's taken his 3rd foul on.
Yeah, you'd think so. We got a T-shirt toss right now at the section next to us.
And I hope he comes back after the 12-minute timeout. He was in there just for a moment, but the most interesting player in college basketball did enter the court for the first time in the second half.
Yeah. 1995 was the name that year. I got that one on the Derek Walton cue.
Birth year then? I missed the hit.
Yeah.
But okay,
yeah.
Birth year Derek Walton. But Evan Boudreau, he's a favorite of mine. Great story for a college basketball player. Went to Dartmouth at first for undergrad, but transferred to Purdue because he wanted to play in an NCAA tournament game. Got all the way to overtime in the Elite Eight, falling just short of the Final Four. He grew up on a fossil ranch in Montana.
I don't believe he grew up there.
Okay.
I believe he grew up visiting there.
Visiting it,
Yeah.
okay. And you might wonder why his family was connected to a fossil ranch in Montana. His mother is the CEO of United Health Group. I believe the Purdue Media Guide fun fact about him is that his mother was listed as, I think, the 11th most powerful woman in America.
Yes.
So
or I believe it was either America or the world. I don't remember.
It's a very interesting family for Evan Boudreau. I remember last year coming. The fun fact about then when he was here was that he spent time on a fossil ranch as a kid in Montana. And what a life that is. Gail Boudreau is his mother. So one of the more interesting players in college basketball, I think Evan Boudreau, got to finally live his dream of playing an NCAA tournament game. Played in 3 last year. Purdue will be a NCAA tournament team unless their offense really stagnates like it has been. They scored just 37 points in Illinois in their previous outing. Doing better today. They had the lead in Ann Arbor, but still looking pretty bad.
It is most powerful women in the world.
Wow, really?
According to Forbes, Evan Boudreau's mother is more powerful than Sheryl Sandberg and Oprah.
Oh, whoa. Well, I have heard of Oprah many more times than Gail Boudreau, but
sometimes power hides in the darkness.
No, yeah. If you really want to be powerful, I think that's the way you want. You want to be discreet about it.
She's more powerful than Queen Elizabeth II, the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
In theory, though, Queen Elizabeth II could wield a lot of power if she just disregarded tradition, I guess.
Nicola Sturgeon, the leader of the Scottish National Party. Are you a Scottish independence person?
Well, I don't want to get political on this broadcast, but she has a lot of power in her hands right now with the way that election went last month. And my goodness, is it favorable right now to be in the SNP.
So out of the media timeout with 11:20 remaining in the game. It's going to be a pair of free throws for Isaiah Thompson. There's a first made free throw, 46-43. Thompson dribbles the ball 3 times, bends the knees, and goes up with the second one, and it's down 47-43. Purdue on top. Michigan's going to just need a few stops and some strong offensive possessions, and this is the thing. A 4-point game is really nothing in college basketball, but in the context of this game, it feels like a mountain. As Simpson runs in to the body of Boudreau right there, and he'll draw a blocking foul right in front of the Michigan bench. It's now team 4th on Purdue, or team's 3rd. Michigan 5 team fouls. Franz Wagner inbounds it to Simpson. Simpson pass over to DeJulius, back to him. Simpson dribbles inside the arc. Now back out towards the free throw line. Now outside of the three-point range. He's going to step out. He'll take a three and off the mark. Rebound pulled down there by Aaron Wheeler. And up they come the other direction. Proctor dribbles inside. Now they pass it around. Slowing down with Eastern right near midcourt. Across to Isaiah Thompson. Thompson to Boudreau. Now down to Eastern on the low block. 5 on the shot clock. Eastern's going to pull up, and that one off the mark. Eastern, a dreadful shooter, missed that one, and now a sloppy foul on Aaron Wheeler, banging into Franz Wagner, who did not see him coming as the ball is being brought up midcourt. 10-19 to go in the game. Team fourth now on Purdue.
Yeah, completely unforced, and with the way they're playing defense, or maybe more accurately the way Michigan's playing offense right now, I think Purdue is going to keep Michigan under 60 unless they send them to the charity stripe a bunch. And Purdue blowing an advantage they had right there. 2 quick fouls, and they are now just 3 away from being in the bonus.
DeJulius dribbles into the key. He'll run up and throw sort of an abbreviated Simpson hook right there as it rolls off the rim, but he'll draw a foul. So 2 free throws will come to David DeJulius. That now already brings Purdue up to 5 team fouls. That's 3 very quick fouls.
Absolutely. And that knots both teams up at 5. So Purdue squandering one of the many advantages they've had in the second half.
DeJulius swishes the first. Julius now at 5 points on the game. Wagner with 9, Johns with 8, Simpson with 6. Teskey now into the game with 8. It's been a very diverse array of scoring for Michigan compared to the 18 for Trayvion Williams and Purdue out of their 47 points. DeJulius is second rims and out, 47-44. Purdue on top, and they've got the rock.
And a very short trip to the court for Colin Castleton.
Yeah. Continue to pass it around outside. Now down to Williams at the elbow, backing in on Teskey as he always does. A nice turnaround, hook shot off the mark, tipped around baseline. Wagner comes up with the rebound. Michigan gets a stop right there. They're only trailing by 3 points. Simpson gets a hard screen from Teskey. Now outside to DeJulius. Dribbling with it, he's got Wagner open outside the arc. Now to DeJulius, he dribbles inside, kicks to the corner. Simpson's 3 is an air ball, and that one grabbed down by Williams. That's now rebound 14 for him. Thompson across. Proctor dribbles inside, gets around Johns, and it's going to be a foul on the floor. Should be before the shot, so it would be an inbound, at least to my knowledge, and it will be. That's now 16 fouls, so the bonus will be setting in soon.
Eli Brooks comes in for Brandon Johns. Not a substitution you're going to see a whole lot as Michigan gets a lot smaller.
They inbounded in. Passing around outside Isaiah Thompson, and we got it's going to be a foul on Michigan.
Yep, looks like Franz Wagner got tripped up.
Yeah, Wagner gets tripped up and looks slightly hurt, or at least shaken up, and yet he's going to be the one hit with the foul. That puts Purdue in the bonus, and that'll be a 1-and-1 now for Aaron Wheeler, who is surprisingly a good free throw shooter for his horrific field goal percentage. 77.8% free throw shooter on the season. The first of the 1-and-1 rattles around and goes down. That's a tough bounce for the Wolverines.
He just needs his time, I guess. I don't really disagree with the foul call. Wagner, I think, unintentionally committed the foul, but it was a foul indeed. I don't think he was tripped up deliberately either. Just a bad break for the Wolverines.
Second one coming, goes through. 49-44, Purdue on top. Simpson gets the inbound pass, and he'll bring it on up. Michigan, again, they just need consistent offensive possessions. They have not made a field goal in 2.5 minutes. And the longer those droughts continue, the tougher it will be to come back. Simpson dribbles around with it, tried to get it over to Wagner, but that'll be a kick. I believe going against Hunter there. He'll stay with Michigan. Shot clock resets to 20, 8:53 to go in the game. Brooks inbounds to Simpson. Screen from Wagner. Simpson dribbles inside, now throws on the brakes, gets that screen back the other way from Teskey. Now outside, Wagner wide open three, bingo! Michigan finally gets a shot from Franz Wagner.
That had to happen eventually. Purdue was playing a bit fast and loose there, letting him open basically every possession. I wonder if that will affect their defensive philosophy going forward now that he has a little bit of momentum going.
49-47, Boilermakers on top. Wheeler with it outside, across to Hunter, and he's traveled. Walked right in front of David DeJulius as he was popping outside to catch that pass.
And this feels like it might be the turning point. With 8:20, there's a lot of basketball still to be played, but Michigan can tie things up with this possession.
You're really tempting the broadcasters, Jinx, right there.
I sure am, but Michigan now has a credible threat shooting again. Brandon Johns was the only one who had anything going, and he left the court, so Purdue going to have to respect Michigan's three ball for a moment here now again.
Brooks inbounds to Simpson. He dribbles the first 10 seconds off the shot clock, now trying to cross up Hunter. He goes inside the running hook, and it goes. Woo! From one of the most acute angles he's ever shot at, from almost the pure baseline right there, and he knocks it down. Game tied at 49, 8 minutes to go. Buckle in, gang. Stefanovic with it outside, passes it over to Hunter. Now to Trayvion Williams in the lane. His underhand scoop is good. What a skilled play there from Trayvion Williams. Now 10 of 15 on the game, and Purdue back up 2, 7:35 to go.
20 for him, 14 for Isaiah Thompson. That is the Purdue offense right now.
Yep.
2/3 of their points exactly even.
Simpson dribbles with it outside. Now pass across. Wagner open three. That one off the mark. Teskey tips it around. It'll go out of bounds to Purdue, and Michigan got Wagner open again, and he just could not knock it down. 2 of 7 now on the game from three for him.
And right when Michigan ties things back up, Purdue has an answer. They're doing a good job not fading away here. They started the half down 4, had their big run, and have not let Michigan go on any kind of run larger than 5-0. They've done a good job coming here to Ann Arbor. They've silenced the crowd for most of it. When you're a defensive team, that certainly can be your strong point. They're by no means a balanced team. If you put much stock in KenPom, which you probably should, they are 83rd in offense and 9th in defense, and today is another day in line with that narrative.
Well, now we've got the dance cam, and here on 90s night at Chrysler, it's the Macarena. It really is interesting how the Macarena has kind of faded from view. It still is played at some arenas, but it feels like when we were kids, it was a lot bigger.
I don't particularly remember it being all that big as a kid. I don't know.
I mean, I remember like in gym class it would come on.
Yeah. I mean, my 14-year-old cousin is still really into it. I was at a minor league baseball game with him over the summer, and they played it. And then we were like the only 2 people in our sections who did the whole dance. I must have spun around 30 times throughout the whole like 5th inning stretch or whatever it was. But I don't know. I think the youth still know it.
I mean, I still know it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're not young anymore. We're in our 20s. I mean, there was a message here like,
real grizzled veteran.
Were you born yet, right? And to me, like, I'm used to going to school with people born in the 90s, but I'm old now, right? The majority of Michigan students are born in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
Well, it's half and half now.
Yeah, but
next year.
I guess there's a lot of grad students here.
Next year, I'll be the last one standing of the 90s.
Yeah,
so.
Well, yeah, there'll be a few 98 kids in your class still.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple 97 kids around.
Now we've got the Mambo number 5.
What year was this one? I know Macarena's 99, getting in right at the end of the decade, beating the buzzer.
1999.
Okay,
I believe this, when I was telling you the story about the math, the extra credit math thing, I believe Mambo number 5 was on it now that I think about it.
Top 5 hits of 1999?
Yeah.
Well, they played the number 1 song when I was born, Get Jiggy With It, at one point today, so.
I did a Sporkle quiz one time and mentioned all of the women named in Mambo number 5, and I got 100%.
Oh, wow. Was that just guessing popular names, or did you know the lyrics?
No, I know the lyrics.
Okay. Monica's the one
Well, they
that
all
starts
end
the
in
hook.
CA, basically.
Oh, they do? Jessica's one of them, I think.
Jessica, Erica, Monica.
Okay.
Well, Rita rhymes, but it isn't CA.
Yeah.
It's basically just A names.
Well, that's like a
Which
third
is
of women's
yeah.
names. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah. I was never a big Mambo number 5 kid growing up. I don't know, but 90s night's a weird feeling when you're in college. I don't know. At least for us, no one remembers the 90s. It's a thing that we've seen the media's presentation of it, but we don't really know what it was like.
The 90s are fake.
Well, we only know
the day.
We only know a caricature of the 90s, but this is a show being put on for us, selling us the 90s as we think of it.
Wonder when 50s night is.
Well, there was Motown night, which had all 60s and 70s music.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
They do 80s night still.
They do.
Sometimes
okay.
they do 70s night.
Yeah.
Are you a disco person?
No.
They inbounded into Eric Hunter out of the timeout. 7:15 to go in the game. 51-49. Purdue on top. This 2-point lead continues to feel big as Michigan comes out playing a bit of a zone right now, and they're a little cluttered in doing so. Hunter dribbles inside, gets around Teske to the rack, lays it up. No, bounced around on the floor. Teske comes down with it. And DeJulius now will dribble it up. David DeJulius now 5 points in this game for Michigan. He dribbles inside, kicks it out. Simpson open for 3, didn't take it. Now Teske on the low post. He had to pass it back out as a double team came, got tipped aside. Simpson had to recollect it near midcourt. Now Simpson dribbles around with it over to Wagner, trying to establish Teske in the post. Outside to DeJulius, 5 on the shot clock. DeJulius inside, his floater off the heel. A pretty high percentage look right there, and it just wouldn't go down. Michigan denied the tie, and now they got to come up with another defensive stop. 6:15 to go. Wheeler to Stefanovic. Back to Wheeler, over to Treyvion Williams. Passes it over to Wheeler. Now to Thompson, 5 on the shot clock. He tried to pull up from 3, couldn't do it. Now over to Williams. His fadeaway jumper is good. Treyvion Williams, 22 points on 11 of 16 shooting. And now a 4-point Purdue lead once again, under 6 minutes to go.
That might be the deepest shot he's made.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been converting it from 2 feet away most of the night. That was about a solid 6 or 7 footer.
Williams entered at 60% field goal percentage, 11 of 16 will help that. Simpson now outside, 10 on the shot clock already. He dribbles baseline, curls around outside. Eli Brooks pump fake, and he got whacked hard as coming flying out of nowhere and hitting him was Stefanovic. And Stefanovic, who, similar to the Wagner foul earlier, takes the brunt of the contact, but he'll be hit with the foul.
And that's when where Brooks just needs to heave up a shot, because you saw for a full second that was coming. Stefanovic could not slow himself down like a runaway freight train.
That's the knowledge of being a veteran player, is knowing to go up there, and Brooks just didn't do that.
As a first-year starter, you can't necessarily blame him for that, but would have been a nice touch if he could weave that into his game, as now Purdue is 1 foul away from forcing Michigan into the bonus.
DeJulius with the ball. 5:20 now in the game. DeJulius gets around Williams to the rack, lays it up. No, Teske the rebound, and the putback is good.
As he finally
53-51.
breaks his scoring drought. I think around the 15-minute mark of the first half, he had 8. Now he finally gets to 10 with 5:08 to go in the second.
DeJulius has been very good at getting to the rack. Hasn't had the touch, though. Teske gave him a hand there. 53-51, Boilermakers on top. The Michigan bench standing and watching this defensive possession. Williams now backing already into the post. His long hook shot is no good. Teske the rebound. Williams falls down. Michigan's got numbers if they can use it. Simpson across the court to DeJulius. He's going to dribble baseline, kicks it back out. Teske for 3 from the wing. Bingo! And Michigan takes the lead back 54-53 or so. They say it's a 2. And Matt Painter's going to take a timeout. You think the refs might take a quick look at this one.
It looked like 2 to me when he was shooting.
Yeah.
I know he made a conscious effort to try to drag his foot back, but I mean, his feet are just so large. Is there an official word on what shoe size he wears?
No.
if it were David DeJulius or Xavier Simpson from where he was standing, I wouldn't have a doubt. But to me, I just personally thought there is no way. I didn't have the angle because his backside was facing right at me. But I personally thought there is no way his toe was not over that line.
Well, you've now got the 2 3-point lines, which make it very confusing watching college basketball nowadays.
Yeah, last year that would be a good three-pointer by nearly a full John Teskey foot. But they moved it back 17 inches this offseason. For what purpose, I don't know. It's not like college basketball had an issue with teams lighting up the scoreboard too much. You had 2 ranked teams play a game last year where the final score was something along the lines of like 39-27. I mean, not sure why they did that, but last year that's a 3. This year I think that one's going to stay as a 2. Refs are at the scorer's table talking that one over.
Well, if you're looking for the stupid stats that they put in these media guides, Purdue this season 8-0 with a higher field goal percentage than their opponent. Right now, it's tied at 53, and Purdue has a slightly higher field goal percentage than Michigan. So it would be quite an achievement if Michigan could win this game while shooting worse than a dreadful shooting team like Purdue.
So you classify that as a stupid stat because it's sort of obvious, right?
I mean, it's stupid because these things are so heavily researched to specifically highlight things about the game, right?
Yeah.
It's like the ones we talk about where, Michigan football since 2003 is 0-17 against top 15 teams played on the road.
Another thing that teams usually lose when that is the case.
If you keep parsing it down, you'll find any stat.
Yes. But that's a pretty simple one when you have better shooting percent. But, of course, that happens, like 85% of the time in basketball? I don't think 8-0 is statistically significant for a team to be reliant on their shooting.
Maybe you should have applied to the Elias Sports Bureau.
That's thing I think about sometimes, but I don't know what their do they work? Do they just always have someone for every ESPN broadcast? Because nothing's official until ESPN says the Elias Sports Bureau confirms it. As our friends at the Elias Sports Bureau now confirm, Purdue is 8-0 when outshooting with a better shooting percentage than their opponents into the 2019-2020 season. Michigan's still looking for their first win in the 2020s, right?
Correct.
You were here for the last one, I believe. UMass Lowell.
Yep. Purdue is 7-2 when they win the rebounding and the turnover battle. They're winning the rebound battle, not winning the turnover battle, so that one's out the window. Purdue's been out-rebounded in 3 of 4 Big Ten games this season. They are winning that tonight. And they're 7-0 when the opponent scores under 60, 2-6 when the opponent scores 60+. So Michigan right on the knife's edge of that with 53 and 4 minutes to go. Once
again, a little bit uninteresting of a fact. Something you could probably guess. Those would be about what the numbers are. They let Minnesota take them to double OT early in the month. Scored 37 in their other game this month. The offense has been more present tonight.
So out of the timeout, Purdue with the basketball. They did say that was a long 2, as you correctly called. 4:15 to go. They get Stefanovic open for 3. He missed it, tipped around. Wagner pulls it down, harassed by 2 Boilermakers, and he comes away with it.
And that's Purdue's first miss in about 18 minutes from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
They were 1 for 7 entering the half, and are now 4 for 10.
Simpson looking for Teskey, or DeJulius rather, and they're going to get a foul on Purdue, and exactly 4 minutes remaining. I don't think we go to the media timeout. It has to be under 4 to my knowledge, or no. They are going to go, so we're going to have back-to-back commercial timeouts. So
it's a lie. It's called the under 12, under 8, under 4 timeout.
It should be less than or equal to 4 minutes.
But that's
timeout.
A mouthful. No greater than 4 timeout. Our whole lives are even lies, I suppose. The under multiple of 4 timeouts aren't as rigid, aren't exactly what they promised to be.
I have to say that I am very, very thankful that Purdue Pete did not make the journey for this game.
I don't like road mascots in general.
What?
I don't like road mascots in general.
No, I'm not a big fan of them either, but Purdue Pete is a public safety hazard. That is a horrifying mascot. Not as bad as the Demon Deacon of Wake Forest.
Yeah, the Demon Deacon's an interesting one.
Any mascot that is trying to be a human and, realistic is bad.
Herbie Husker's not bad.
Yeah, Herbie Husker's okay.
Little Red, the other Husker mascot, is pretty, because he's not at all realistic for a human. That's a good one. I mean, the Sparty, he's not bad. I think he's sort of realistic in general.
Well, Sparty isn't really trying to be a human.
Oh, what? Just a roid monster or something?
Yeah.
Well, in just general, I don't know. I don't think you should. Teams like when teams bring their flag in the end zone, on the road, it seems a bit disrespectful. It's a party for the home team. Don't really know how many people you need to bring, so Purdue Pete, we're okay with that.
Does Sparty look like a human?
I mean, sure, the face is not at all realistic. He's got like the movie star chin on steroids, where it's like 80% of his face.
I mean, he's really just an anthropomorphic.
Well, why is he holding the?
That's a garden gnome.
Well, no, but that's like the Travelocity gnome, right? In particular,
I don't think so.
No, that is exactly the one from the commercials. No one can see what we're talking about.
Do you have any garden gnomes in your house?
No, that'd be so weird. Does anyone?
Do you have an elf on the shelf?
No.
Good.
Yeah, that's also creepy. No.
We have garden gnomes at our house, but only outside in the garden, not in the house.
Still.
There's like a tiger one, and I think there might be a lion one.
Are they gnomes or cats?
No, they're gnomes, but they're wearing tiger gear.
Oh, it's the Detroit Tigers,
Yeah.
Detroit Lions. Yeah, okay. Well, I outed myself as an out-of-stater right there. I think I do that in every broadcast, though. We're going to talk about my neck of the woods. Still no Matt Harms, the Wichita product of sorts from the Netherlands by way of Wichita.
Yeah.
Sunrise Christian
Harms
Academy.
has not played this entire second half, presumably out with injury, but
I don't think Purdue's missing him all that bad with the game that Williams has had.
no, not really. I haven't gotten to use my one Harms stat, though, so that's unfortunate.
I think you can use it right now. We got 20 more seconds.
He's one of 4 players in the country with 57% field goal percentage, 25 blocks, and 7 or more made threes. 3 of the 4 in the Big Ten. Harms, Oturu of Minnesota, and John Teskey, who stands at the free throw line right now. Did you see that segue?
Beautiful. Well, expertly done.
Teskey at the stripe. He's got a 1-and-1, so you got to make the first end, and he does. 54-53. This is the rare Michigan lead that hasn't been around much here in the second half. They came into halftime with a lead, but then it quickly evaporated after a really cold start to start the half. Michigan now takes a 2-point edge as Teskey sinks them both. 55-53, Michigan on top, 3:55 to go. Hunter over to Williams. They get right to him. His hook blocked by Teskey. It's going to go out of bounds. Oh, I think they called a foul from behind. Yep, that referee from the backside called a foul. The baseline referee said the ball was out of bounds off Purdue. I think that was a pretty bad call, but it doesn't matter because the foul was called from behind. It's a Michigan 6-0 run over the last 82 seconds. Purdue hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. Wheeler went down hard, and now he strides to the free throw line.
And that was on the floor, I believe.
Yes, so it is a 1-and-1, and Wheeler, again, good free throw shooter, bad shooter everywhere else. The front end, he makes it, so he's now 3 for 3 at the stripe today, continuing that good free throw shooting.
Big one here for the guy with no field goals all game.
And his second is through. Game tied at 55, 3:48 to go.
I mean, I know I said maybe he just needs time on the last trip to the free throw line for him, but that's kind of remarkable. And he's 0 for 1. He doesn't even attempt field goals in this game. But
well, because he's been dreadful in Big Ten play this season. So now, talking about that field goal percentage stat, we are even at 44% apiece. 55 all in the game. This has been a really tight Big Ten game. To Julius outside. Brooks for 3. That one short. Tipped around. Teskey swats it back to Simpson, who gets the rebound. 3:25 to go in the game. Simpson dribbles around with it. Slings it over to Brooks. Now it is Teskey. Hands it over to Brooks. He's got a potential open 3 again. Instead, he'll pump fake to the rack. Lays it up off the window and good. 3:15 to go in the game. 57-55. Michigan on top.
Just getting his 4th point of the game. He is cold when it's not his night, but makes the big basket right there.
Hunter with it. Pass across to Thompson. Face up guarded by DeJulius. Got a first step on him. Now he'll step back outside to Williams at the elbow. Backing in on Teskey. His shot off the glass and good. And some fans right next to us riled up about that one. 57 all, 2:40 to go.
Michigan had kept him quiet during that run that they were on and tying up and ultimately taking the lead, but Williams wasn't going to go gently into the night.
DeJulius drives inside and he draws a foul. And you have to say about DeJulius right there, he's a guy that knows how to draw a foul.
Yes, absolutely, and very smartly going into the shooting motion once he knows it's coming. Not James Harden-esque quite yet, but as a sophomore, a young player, never been a starter for this team, he has gotten pretty good at that already.
And DeJulius makes the first of his 2 free throws, as it was a shooting foul.
Exactly 2.5 to go in this one. It's going to be...
Well, we were talking yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever that was, about a game that took place 2 years ago to this date as DeJulius misses the second. Purdue and Michigan on this date 2 years ago at Chrysler. That game went down to the final possession. And this one has the same feel right now. Wheeler over to Thompson outside. Thompson to Williams. Michigan looked like they were going to try a double team. Instead, they'll let Teskey have him himself. Turnaround hook shot, rattles in, rattles out, but they can't get the offensive rebound, or Purdue gets the offensive rebound. A floater in the lane by Thompson, no good. Outside, Stefanovic. He'll dribble inside, outside. Thompson, open three. That one rattles out, and Michigan grabs the rebound over the back foul on Trayvion Williams. Michigan ball, and Teskey will be shooting free throws. Purdue now 1 for their last 7 from the field. This is an ugly, ugly game.
And Teskey is 3 for 3 on the night. Not a great free throw shooter throughout his career, but he's been responsible for a good amount of offense right now. He had one of the best starts in the country for any college basketball player. 14 points right now. He could do a whole lot of help for his team. Up 1 with a 1-and-1 coming.
Big front end of the 1-and-1, and Teskey misses it. A huge miss there for the Wolverines. 58-57, 152 to go in this game. A lot of missed opportunities by Michigan at the free throw line here in the last minute. Williams with the ball, standing right at the three-point line, gives it over to Stefanovic. Now across Thompson, guarded by Simpson. Simpson got a hand in there, didn't quite get a steal though. Already down to 5 on the shot clock. Thompson's got to hurry. 4 seconds, passes it outside. Trayvion Williams throws up a 3, and it goes! Trayvion Williams, a 33% three-point shooter, throws up a heave at the shot clock expiration, and it goes down. That kind of night for him, 27 points. DeJulius, 67 seconds left in the game. DeJulius dribbles inside over to Simpson. 60-58 Purdue. Simpson going to dribble inside the key to the rack. Underhand scoop and score.
Well, here we go. That was one of the most eventful games I've seen in the Chrysler Center 2 years ago.
Matt Painter's going to call a timeout with 52 seconds left. Purdue 60, Michigan 60. The last game we did together here at the Chrysler Center went to overtime. Always eventful here.
Exactly what I was about to bring up. I know the schedules are already made, but I hope you and I are not on any more broadcasts.
I don't know. I have to check.
It's been fun, but this is too much. After that, devastating loss in overtime to Oregon. I was on the call 2 years ago on this day for the Purdue game. That was a heartbreaker as well. This is
maybe you should just stop being on broadcast.
Maybe. I was on the Creighton win earlier this year. That one not as exciting. Williams, it's first attempt of the night from beyond the arc. He's a 33.3% shooter, but is that because he's 1 for 3 on the year? I don't think it takes too many.
It's pretty low volume. And you have to wonder the curious decision of Michigan not to double team Treyvion Williams more.
This is
a Purdue team that struggles to shoot, and they've allowed Michigan has allowed Williams to ravage them. 27 points and 15 rebounds. Very similar to Luka Garza's performance here at Chrysler Center against Iowa back in December, when he had, I believe, 44 in that game. Iowa still lost, and with a tie game and 52 seconds left, Purdue could very well lose this game too.
Well, here we go. I do not know what to expect anymore out of this one. The shooting has been so on and off.
52.1 to go in the game. They inbound it to Wheeler, over to Stefanovic. Crowd on their feet and loud. Williams turns inside, lays it up. No, but they think they called a foul, and they did. And I think it's an offensive foul. The Purdue players are going back the other direction. I don't know what it was for.
And the crowd didn't react to that at all. The officials need to do a better job communicating.
Oh, and now the officials are talking to each other. Let's take a look at the replay. Williams spins inside, pump fakes Teskey, goes up for the shot, and he just misses it. There was no foul there.
Okay,
the call was a goaltend.
Teskey did touch the rim going up to defend that one.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think that's the only replay we're getting.
Well, if it does stand, it will be 62-60 with 44 seconds remaining. Michigan with plenty of time.
So I suppose we just missed it. Basically, everyone in Chrysler Center here, it sounds like they missed it.
Here's another replay. Yeah, it does look like he touches it from underneath the basket. Goes up through the sort of twine at the side of the rim. Pokes a couple fingers through there.
So we're looking like it's going to be a really bad end of the night for Jon Teskey. Misses the front end of a 1-and-1 while up 1.
Well, and these are the moments, that really decide games, right? Because you have an improbable made three-pointer from Williams, and then Michigan misses 2 free throws, and really 3 because of the 1-and-1, the front end. If those things go a little differently, Michigan could be in command of this game right now, but they have not gotten the breaks on defense and have not helped themselves on offense. Wagner inbounds it, or is about ready to inbound it. Looks like Purdue going with a sort of full court press right here.
Well, they've been doing that kind of all game.
Yeah, they're laying it off. Simpson with the ball. Gets the screen from Teskey. Tried to find him inside and couldn't. Now across to Wagner, 30 seconds remaining in the game. 17 on the shot clock. Franz Wagner over to Simpson, 14. And now Juwan Howard calls a timeout. Boy, oh boy. That was a very bad looking possession.
And Michigan doing nothing with exactly 17 seconds. 27.4 to go now. 13 on the shot clock. And Michigan has really no progress to show for it besides advancing the ball onto the other half of the court. I mean, you got to wonder who takes the shot here. We saw with the game on the line against Oregon, Xavier Simpson go for a sky hook to try to win that game. I mean, no Isaiah Livers. You really think he could have made a difference in this one? And Michigan is on the roads now for a very ugly slip, and frankly could wind up losing 4 consecutive meaningful games.
Yeah.
Winning UMass Lowell and Presbyterian were the only 2 victories in between a 2-game slide, losing in Urbana-Champaign and at home to, at the time, number 10 Oregon. Now in danger of dropping an 18-point loss in East Lansing, followed by one at Purdue tonight, a Purdue team that just scored 37 points in their last game. And Michigan going off to Minnesota, who is not too shabby of an opponent on Sunday, currently ranked 37th by KenPom. And they have the number 67 defense by that metric, so that might be a break for this offense with or without Isaiah Livers, but he could not be back any sooner.
Yeah, you can really clearly see the drop-off in play quality for Michigan since Isaiah Livers went down against Presbyterian. It's just not clicking in the same way that it had previously. They've missed his shooting, his offensive arsenal.
So I think most Michigan fans are probably unhappy with the way they possessed the ball against Oregon in overtime.
Brooks inbounds to Simpson, 10 on the shot clock, gets the help from Teskey. He's got a lane to the rack, lays it up, and in! 18.9 to go, shot clock turned off. Purdue can try and win this thing. Matt Painter's gonna call a timeout, and boy, this game has just ground to a halt.
Well, Michigan might have tilted their hand. Maybe that's what they want. Xavier Simpson going to the rim. Not maybe ideal for a guy who's listed at 6'1", maybe more like 5'11". But it didn't work against Oregon, worked right there. No doubt about it. That was a high percentage shot he was able to force, and it was clean. Straight shot to the rim and in. Ricocheted off the inside of the rim a couple times, but it was halfway down by the time it did so.
Well, he got switched on to Williams there, and he took over, able to weave his way right around the 6'9" big man.
And I think at a point his size comes back to eventually pay off when he's so small that a lot of those fives here in college basketball just really struggle to guard him when he carries the ball so much lower than where they like to reach.
Well, and the tough thing for Treyvion Williams is that he is only 6'9", so he doesn't have the same length to block a shot that other bigs do. But at 270, he is hefty and doesn't have the same agility to stick with Simpson, which no big really does. But what bails you out as a big is the wingspan.
Yes. Yeah.
So here we go. 15.7 to go in the game. One last chance for the Boilermakers.
Purdue just in the regular bonus.
Livers is being shown on the Jumbotron. The crowd getting fired up. They are loud. Inbound to Hunter. He's just holding it at the block M. 12 seconds remaining. 10 seconds. He calls Wheeler for a screen. 7 seconds. Over to Wheeler. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Over to Hunter. 2 seconds in the lane. Underneath to Williams. Blocked. And I think we're going to overtime. Unless they call that a goaltend.
That would be.
Should be going to overtime, I think. The referees are meeting at midcourt. A frantic under the basket pass from Hunter to Williams. And he put it up. And it looked like it got swatted from behind. And so for the second straight broadcast between the two of us, we might be going to an extra session. And remember how we got to overtime last time.
Oh, I'll never forget the last second shot that went in, but it wasn't quite last second. It was after the last second. By a hair, he missed it. It wasn't a nail biter. They were able to overturn that call pretty decisively. Matt Painter didn't bother really lobbying for a goaltend. So
there's no review. I don't think it was. We never saw a replay. But whenever you see a shot go up and it kind of bounce around, you never really know.
And I was ready to criticize Purdue for just wasting that last possession. They spent so much time hanging out by the block M, nowhere near the rim. But by the very end, they forced basically a 2-on-1. Teskey had to get off Williams to go play Hunter, and he was able to disrupt the shot just enough, couldn't get the pass off, and Williams did not have enough time for the putback by the time the ball eventually did get to him. Maybe if Hunter had a bit more urgency there, Williams could have put that away with a half a second left. Ultimately, though, Michigan played just well enough here without Isaiah Livers to get to OT. They shot abysmally to start the half and have had more life in the second 10 minutes of the second half. We'll see if that can carry into OT. And yeah, maybe Michigan might fall in their two serious competition games here in back-to-back, strong tournament caliber opponents at home here, losing in OT to Oregon way back on December 14th. Okay. Man, that was a month ago, almost.
Yeah, almost.
I believe your semester was done at that point, but
it was more or less done.
I still had a couple finals.
There was a unfortunate group project with an irascible group member that took a little longer to complete, but.
So that's last semester. That's ancient history at this point, it feels like to me. Maybe that's because I'm a second semester senior, but.
I thought you were old.
Oh,
You're supposed to have perspective.
I don't know.
Teskey sort of wins the tip-off for Michigan.
Yeah.
Took a bit of juggling to get it down, and here we go in overtime. 5 minutes on the clock.
Least coordinated tip-off victories I've seen in a while.
Simpson starts it off for the Wolverines. Going to pass it down to Teskey, back out to Simpson. 10 on the shot clock. Xavier to the lane, lays it up, count it, and a foul. Xavier Simpson, 4:37 to go in overtime. Gets that one to go off the rack, count it, and a foul.
And more importantly than perhaps the win is the individual stat that Simpson is right now 1 free throw away from overtaking John Teskey as the team's leading scorer tonight. I'm sure that's all that's on his mind right now.
And Simpson always a questionable free throw shooter, and he missed that one. Free throw woes hurting Michigan right now. They've missed 3 straight at the line. Juwan Howard picking up that photo and showing it to his players. That is a defensive symbol. Trayvion Williams has it outside, gives it off to Stefanovic. He dribbles in the lane. Ball is loose. Simpson picks it up. 3-on-3 the other way for the Wolverines. And he does the smart thing to just throw on the brakes. Now he tries to get around his defender, Thompson, and instead he'll draw a foul. This will be another 1-and-1 for Simpson.
And Simpson corralled that ball off the face of John Teskey. You had Sasha Stefanovic driving to the rim. Not something he does often. And that did not end well at all as 3 Michigan defenders converged on him, and the ball played Plinko off of Teskey's face and ultimately into the hands of Xavier Simpson, looking for redemption from the charity stripe.
Simpson misses the first. This is actually, I guess, in the double bonus now. It said only 8 team fouls. I guess that changes in overtime.
No, you're looking at Michigan.
Oh, sorry.
Purdue it did just commit their 10th.
Yeah. Simpson's second goes through, so he goes 1 of 3 at the free throw line in those extended free throws. 65-62, Michigan bench on their feet. Chrysler Center now on their feet. Isaiah Thompson dribbles it up. He passes it over to Wheeler. Wheeler across to Stefanovic. Now to Hunter, he dribbles inside, outside Treyvion Williams. Pump fake, driving to the rack. Floater, rattles around, no good on the floor, and I think we've got an over the back on Williams. In which case, that will be his second personal. He's not in foul trouble, but that'll put Teskey at the line for 2 free throws, and the double bonus now coming in handy.
Yet Williams is up to 29, but things have slowed down for him a bit since that three-pointer. Wasn't exactly a desperation heave, but a low percentage look. It
was
connected.
Pretty much a desperation heave. There was 1 on the shot clock.
Yeah. But the form was all right, but now he is really struggling here down the stretch.
Teskey's first free throw attempt is good. 66-62 Michigan. This is Michigan's first 2-possession lead in a while.
Well, they started the half up 4.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the last time it was this large of a lead.
Technically 1 possession if you got the old 4-point play.
Now, you can...
And Teskey misses that one, so still a 1-possession game. 66-62.
You can score infinite points in 1 possession in basketball if you keep rebounding the free throw.
Stefanovic with the ball. Now they try to get it into Trayvion Williams. That one will go out of bounds off of Michigan. Or no, they call a foul on Teskey. That's his 3rd personal. No one really in foul trouble on either team. So that'll put Williams at the free throw line, and he entered today at 45.7%. The replay there, pretty questionable. But it's a 1-and-1. And this is a big free throw for a bad free throw shooter, and he knocks it down.
He's not bad at any kind of shooting tonight.
No. He was 0 for 2 at the free throw line prior to that, but he makes the first, 66-63.
So maybe he's not great at free throw shooting tonight, but...
Well, that was early in the game before the beast was unleashed, you might say. Here comes the second, knocks that one down. So 66-64, Purdue's free throw shooting down the stretch much better than Michigan's, and they're hanging around because of it. 3:30 to go in the game. Xavier Simpson with the ball. Calls David DeJulius towards him. Now he'll get Franz Wagner to come over and help. Simpson curls around a couple Boilermakers, throws it out to Wagner. 10 on the shot clock. Michigan's going to have to find something. Wagner dribbles inside to the rack, lays it up. Oh, and it just gets an ugly roll. And Purdue grabs the rebound. Boy, oh boy, Michigan's luck at the rim not been great in the second half and overtime, and now it's back to just 2 points. 3 minutes to go, Purdue with the ball. Thompson to Hunter to Stefanovic. Still got the ball over to Thompson. 7 on the shot clock. Screen from Williams. His pull-up long two. In and out. Simpson comes down with the rebound. He is harassed, and they call a held ball.
And it's going to possession arrow with Purdue. I don't know if that was tied up long enough for a held ball call, but Simpson high-pointing that through a sea of bodies. And did Purdue really ever have any kind of claim to that ball?
That was a 90% Michigan ball, 10% Purdue ball.
I mean, it looks like Hunter had his...
I mean, he's got a hand in there, but Simpson's got 2 arms wrapped around it. Regardless, they'll inbound with 20 on the shot clock. They get it into Stefanovic, to Thompson, guarded well by DeJulius. Now to Williams, here we go. Williams on Teskey at the elbow, backing in, spin move underneath, lays it up, easy money. Treyvion Williams, 33 for Purdue. 66 apiece, 2:25 to go in the game. Simpson comes up with it. Screen from Wagner. They kick it around. Wagner for 3. That one off the mark, was off all the way. Purdue pulls down the rebound, 2:05 to go. Michigan now 5 of 25 from three-point range on the game. Thompson dribbles in the lane, tries to scoop it underneath. They get it around. Aaron Wheeler for 3, and he misses it. Michigan gets oh so fortunate as the dreadful shooter Wheeler missed what looked like a very good three-pointer.
That took about 8 trips around the rim. That's a dizzy ball right now.
Yeah, the rims have been cruel tonight. DeJulius over to Teskey. DeJulius tried to dribble drive. Now he'll pass it over to Eli Brooks. Brooks, long 2 off the heel, but the offensive rebound pulled down by DeJulius for a second. Now to the floor, tipped around, out of bounds off Michigan. 88 seconds to go in the game.
Not really sure how to comprehend that play as a whole.
Well, Michigan had the possession arrow back. All they needed to do was hold on to it, and they were not able to do it. And Teskey flopping around like a fish out of water on the floor, not able to pull away with it.
As Brooks drops to 2 for 7 on field goals now tonight.
He's been a good long 2 shooter, but you still don't like those looks in general.
No, with 90 seconds to go in the game, you got to have better looks than that, either worth 3 or high percentage.
66 all, 1:20 to go. Williams with the ball to Hunter. Purdue controls. Stefanovic, they get a man open in the corner, and he passed up a pretty good look. Now they'll just hand it to Hunter out near half court. 9 on the shot clock. Here we go to Williams. 6 on the shot clock. Help doesn't come. He spins to the side and makes it. Williams knocks it down. 35 points for Williams. 68-66. Purdue on top. That's a 6-0 run for Purdue. Michigan hasn't scored in 2:35. Simpson to the rack, lays it up, and lays it in. 47 seconds left.
It's been about the only sure thing going for Michigan offensively tonight. Xavier Simpson to the rim, and they should get the last possession, but Purdue can take the lead.
Painter will take a timeout. 44 on the game clock. What a game. Well, we talk about the competitiveness of the Big Ten Conference. It has been a rock fight really in every conference game this year, and this one has been no different for the Wolverines.
And even the horrible teams in the Big Ten, maybe not Northwestern, but Nebraska has found ways to shake up the standings, beating both Iowa and Purdue, eventual tourney teams at home, despite just being an atrocious team in a year 0 rebuild right now. And in the Big Ten, you can lose any game, and any game Michigan wins without Isaiah Livers is colossal. And dropping a third game would be atrocious right now. It would probably realistically take them out of contention for the regular season title, but with how deep this conference is, you got to think whoever ends up winning is going to have 4 or 5 losses.
Be a colossal win against the Fossil Hunter.
We have unfortunately not seen that much of this half. He is the most interesting man in college basketball, but not getting a whole lot of minutes tonight as they have stuck with the starting five sans Matt Harms since his injury.
And you just look at the really breakdown. 35 of 68 points for Williams, 26 of 60 field goal attempts for Williams. Purdue 10 of 34 on other shots not taken by Williams. They inbound it in. Here we go, 38 seconds in the game. 20 on the shot clock. Guess who it is? Trayvion Williams backing in on Teske. He spins baseline. Wagner comes over to help. He lays it up. No! To the corner. Thompson pulls it down. They can hold it now to a 5-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Williams face up against Teske outside Hunter. Michigan unable to secure a huge rebound. 8 on the shot clock. Thompson with the ball, 5 seconds remaining. I don't think they're going to have time to get it to Williams. 2 seconds, dribbling in the lane. That shot rims around and out. Simpson the rebound. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Simpson for 3. Oh, and it's off the mark.
He could have taken another dribble.
Yeah, he probably could have.
Not sure if that would have changed anything, but another rule change in college basketball coming in huge there. We saw John Teske only get a 2-pointer rather than a 3, in part because of how the free throw line's been pushed back 17 inches over the offseason. And ultimately, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Maybe Purdue would have scored. Michigan does nothing with the extra 5 seconds they got, but with the now, if you get an offensive board, rather than getting 25 seconds, you just get 20. Purdue maybe could have drawn up the play they were looking for. Michigan got 5.5 seconds for Xavier Simpson to didn't have enough time to run the length of the court. Ultimately got kind of close. That was not even online upon further review.
Well, a big question there was whether the attempt by Hunter that was missed, or Wheeler rather, was that a shot clock violation or a miss? Because
yes,
it was very close. And if it's a shot clock violation, it's a dead ball. Michigan gets to inbound and actually bring it up the court.
I don't see the officials convening at all.
No, it's too late now, but that would have been a very interesting question.
Absolutely. Michigan still has 4 timeouts left as opposed to Purdue's 1. I mean, that would have been that could have been huge.
And it also seemed like Michigan could have called a timeout when they came down with the rebound, although it's hard to get officials' attention, at least from Juwan Howard. And the players often want to just play it out.
A timeout would have been big, though, being able to advance the ball more. I mean, Simpson had a very low percentage chance of getting that ball, even as close as he did.
I mean, it seems easy to say call a timeout, but people that play basketball, the game goes so much faster when you're out there.
Who are Michigan fans to, get a bit aggressive with calling the timeout in a big moment of a close game? They know what can go wrong.
It wasn't this Fab Five member.
No, Chris Webber, but yeah, I want more of this. Oh boy, this is our 3rd overtime period together in the past month. We'll see what goes on with. It was a great start for Michigan, and it kind of fizzled out.
They had 2 possessions there with the Brooks long 2 and the Wagner missed 3 that really were bad possessions and bad shots.
The tip-off on the last one was not so great.
And Teske pulls it down. Michigan wins another tip.
This one going off the hand of Wagner rather than his back.
Simpson to DeJulius. DeJulius inside. Teske right there. Lays it up. Count that, baby. And a foul.
Just how last OT started. Michigan wins the tip-off. Draws an and one. Doesn't convert. You never know how things would have been different, but that 1 point would have changed the score. Assume all else is the same.
So here's John Teske at the free throw line, 4 of 6 on the game, which is right around his free throw average for the season. And he makes that one. Michigan gets a 3-point play. They lead 71-68. Purdue's been to a double OT game this season. This is their 2nd. Stefanovic to Eastern to Hunter. Eric Hunter Jr. to Stefanovic. Isaiah Thompson outside. Now to Eric Hunter Jr. Guarded face up by DeJulius. Step back 3. Off the heel. Rebound, John Teske. 4:20 to go.
And Trayvion Williams, has he played this entire half? I don't think he's had a minute off.
I think he has.
You got to wonder if Teske's just going to keep feeling stronger because he got a breather with Colin Castleton for a moment. Michigan has
DeJulius across. Simpson open for 3 from the wing. Bingo! Michigan now with a 6-point lead, 74-68.
1 and 5, got it there, and that's a game changer. 6-point lead. Michigan has not led this much in the whole game.
Eastern to Thompson. Michigan 74, Purdue 68. Double overtime, 3:45 on the clock. They find Thompson in the corner. He's going to drive to the rack. Now he'll throw on the brakes in the key. Kicks it out, Stefanovic from the arc. Now to Williams at the elbow. This crowd getting loud. Williams running hook shot. Off the mark. Brooks the rebound. Michigan 6-point lead in the ball. This crowd going wild. But Michigan's got to have smart possessions right here.
And Williams has played so well. You don't think Purdue's going to miss Harms that much, but you got to think he seems like he's tailed off a little bit here toward the end.
Julius going to kick to the wing. Eli Brooks dribbles baseline to Simpson, dribbles inside, kicks it out. Chesky for 3, off the mark.
That would have blown the roof.
Yeah, that was the dagger. And he just missed it. 3:05 to go in the game. Isaiah Thompson tried to bring it inside the arc. Now he'll back off. Trayvion Williams there. Pass across to Eric Hunter Jr. Stripped underneath. He's the last to touch it. Out of bounds. Michigan basketball.
Really does seem to me like Michigan just has another gear right now. They haven't played that was super deep with the bench, given that they're without Livers. We've seen no Brandon Johns for a long time here, but it seems like Michigan maybe hasn't gotten stronger, but just relatively less weak compared to a Purdue team whose 5 guys on the court right now have basically played nonstop for half an hour.
And I think we got a timeout by Juwan Howard. We do. And this game now has gone the distance and then some in double overtime. Michigan leads 74-68. Wolverines over the Boilermakers in a huge Big Ten clash. Michigan 10-4 overall, number 19 in the country, but 1-2 in Big Ten play. And given how tough it is to play on the road in the Big Ten, you cannot seed any home games.
10 of the Big Ten's 14 teams are top 40. 7 are top 25. This is all by Ken Palm.
And I believe both Purdue and Michigan are in that top 25.
Yes, and Purdue being 20 and Michigan being 19 even. And 50, and 12 of the Big Ten's 14 teams are top 50. I mean, it is an unbelievably deep conference this year. The ACC is generally almost every year the best team in college basketball, but it's a down year for North Carolina. It's a down year for Virginia. I mean, the Big Ten may truthfully be the hardest conference to win in college basketball this year. Every win is huge, and when you're missing potentially your best player, undoubtedly one of your 3 best players, in Isaiah Livers, every win keeps you alive, and it's just so huge. Michigan right now, a 4 seed is penciled in by bracketmatrix.com. There's a lot to play for because that 4 versus 5 line is a huge difference. That 4 versus 3 line, also colossal.
So the inbound to Simpson, up to DeJulius, 2:40 to go in the game. In double overtime between Michigan and Purdue, DeJulius dribbles in the lane, kicks it out. Wagner from the corner. Good night! Franz Wagner, the 6'9 German, might have just put the nail in the coffin with a 3 from the corner. 77-68. Wolverines on top in double overtime over Purdue. 2:20 to go in the game.
You got 2 German flags flying from the student section right now.
Thompson to Hunter. DeJulius tries to draw a foul. Instead, he'll be hit with a blocking foul. Purdue in the double bonus will get 2 free throws with 2:14 to go.
There is number 10 as DeJulius heads toward the sideline, just talking to Coach Juwan Howard. I'm very surprised how little of Brandon Johns we saw at the end of this game. I mean, he's been the best 3-point shooter for Michigan tonight.
So Eric Hunter Jr. steps to the line. The crowd not happy about that blocking foul, and he makes the first. 77% free throw shooter on the season. The sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, has gotten a much bigger role with Carson Edwards and his high volume shooting, leaving the team via graduation. So the inbound comes in, Wagner to DeJulius. Michigan leads by 7, 2:10 to go in the game. They can wind it all the way down to 143 in the contest if they want to. And they look intent to. DeJulius continues to just dribble around outside. Now he dribbles inside to Simpson baseline. He was in the corner. He cut close to the basket. Now threw on the brakes when he was walled off. 10 on the shot clock. He's going to cross over his man, dribble into the paint, kick it out. Teskey from the elbow, off the heel. 77-70, Michigan still on top. Purdue comes up the floor. They got to hurry. Not a lot of time to mount a comeback in double OT. There's a nice Little hook shot off the glass.
And
it goes down now back to 5.
A quick basket, most importantly, too. That was what Purdue needed. They don't have to resort to fouling just yet with 86 seconds to go, down 5. Just 2 possessions away. Or if you make a 3 and then get fouled, recover the... Never know. DeJulius
step back, long 2, and he knocks it down. David DeJulius, not quite a 3, but he was right close to the line, and now with 70 seconds left in double overtime, Purdue down 7. They've got to hurry. You got to think fouls will be upcoming, even if they get a make here. Bounce pass underneath. Williams goes up for a shot, but Simpson grabs him and holds him down. Trayvion Williams, the monstrous sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, 35 points on 16 of 28 shooting, will go to the free throw line and shoot 2 for the Boilermakers, trailing 7 with an even 1 minute to go in double OT.
Simpson had no interest in even pretending he wasn't going to foul on that nearly 100% percentage shot, sending a weaker free throw shooter to the line. Wise choice here.
His first free throw is good. Williams now 3 of 5 in the game at the free throw line, 45.7% on the season. Not a good free throw shooter. If the law of averages says anything, it would mean a miss right here. 79-73, Michigan on top. He leaves that free throw short. Now to the corner. Nogel Eastern tries to save it, but he goes out of bounds, and the ball will go to Michigan. As the 6'7" power forward for the Boilermakers tried a desperation save, not able to do so. Franz Wagner will now do the inbound as the full court press comes out for Purdue. Franz looks to get it in, and I think we have a foul before the inbound, and we do. It'll go against Hunter, grabs on to Brooks. So that'll put Eli Brooks at the free throw line, 68% on the season. Michigan's been in the double bonus for the duration of double OT. So 2 free throws coming for Brooks, and if Michigan can just make their free throws, this game's over. A 6-point lead is a big enough lead that with 1 minute to go, if you make your free throws, you win the game. But Michigan hasn't done that much down the stretch, and they missed the first. The big moments late in regulation and in overtime, a missed front end of a 1-and-1 by Teskey, missed free throws by Simpson, have kept this game alive, and a miss there from Brooks. His second misses it as well. Here we go. Purdue only down 6, 55 seconds left. They come up with it, does Hunter, guarded by DeJulius, into the paint, spins around. His shot is good, and Matt Painter, head coach for Purdue, will take a timeout. 48 seconds exactly remaining in the game, and it's a 4-point game.
Took just 10 seconds, and Purdue does not need to foul, although with the way Michigan's been shooting it in the big moments, might be a good idea.
Well, and you got to wonder why in the world was Franz Wagner the one to inbound that pass for the Wolverines when he stands at 94% on the season. He's the one guy you want to get the inbound pass to, especially with Purdue seemingly so intent to foul early, and they're going to probably have to do it again. Michigan would run 30 seconds off the clock and take it down to 18.
And maybe because he also stands at 6'9", Howard might have thought that would give him good leverage, less risk of a deflected inbound. But I totally agree with you. Free throw shooting is the reason why this game is still going on. Michigan could have ended at the end of regulation. But I'd say outside of free throw shooting, they've looked really strong here down the stretch. They've gotten down toward the very final moments of regulation, got down in OT, the first period at least, and they powered through it. They took leads. They took a leads in the beginning of both OT periods. They might have already learned something from that Oregon game that was a tight one too, going to single overtime.
And now Wagner will do the inbound again.
Don't know about
decision
that.
From Juwan Howard. 48 seconds to go in the game. Michigan does have 3 timeouts, so of course they can use one if they run into trouble on the inbound.
David DeJulius is the only player who could receive this pass, and Michigan want to go to the line.
Purdue owns the possession arrow. They get it right back to Wagner off the inbound. Now over to DeJulius. He's got the ball, and he'll be fouled. They ran about 5 seconds off the clock. 43 seconds to go in the game. David DeJulius strides to the free throw line. I have him at 68.4% on the season, almost identical to the 68.2% of Brooks. And we saw the 2 misses from Eli Brooks. DeJulius in the game, 4 of 6 at the free throw line. His first is off the mark. Michigan has now missed 3 straight free throws.
Well, and since that John Teskey 1-1, when Michigan was up 58-57, I'd like to see what the shooting percentage is since then. It can't be better than 33, I don't think.
And the second from DeJulius goes through, so Michigan up 5, 80-75, 43.3 to go. Up comes Hunter. They can bring it to a 1-score game with a make from 3, and that one is blocked by Teskey underneath, out of bounds. They say off Purdue. I don't think that's a good call. Let's take a look at the replay, and the referees will go immediately to the monitor.
Yep, this one is going to get reviewed.
Let's take a look. And that's a bad angle.
Yeah, that's about useless right there. Didn't
See
look
if we get a reverse angle. Here it is. This is under the basket. 3 players, Wagner, Teskey, and Williams went after it. I think that's off Williams, but this could be one of those 3-minute reviews.
Yep, Teskey's fingers sure came close to it. That must have been what the officials assumed happened when they ruled that out, because there was no debate. That ball got pushed out by Williams. Did it graze the finger or hand of John Teskey at any point? I mean, I'm sitting about 40 feet away from this jumbo TV, so the refs are going to have a better look with their faces right in front of the screen. This is, I mean, to me, I don't see anything right there. I'm not sure if this is strong enough to overturn, however. This view they're giving us right now does nothing. It's from a very far
yeah,
shot.
It could probably, I mean, I think the referees would probably have a better look at it just because they're up closer and we're looking at a jumbotron. But we're mostly in the dark.
Officials are taking their time. Student sections all pointing toward the Michigan side of the court.
The
Although
3
I
referees all walked away. Now 2 go back and continue to review.
Suppose the ruling does stand, though. Purdue did burn 15 seconds, or 10 seconds rather, on the possession so far.
And they're going to stick with Purdue basketball. There might not have been indisputable video evidence.
So by the time they get their shot off, the shot clock will be off. These 21 seconds here will be the final seconds of the shot clock in this game.
So it'll come down to the free throws pretty much, at least for Michigan to close this one out. Hunter to do the inbound at the baseline. Underneath the basket, Juwan Howard. Oh boy, now they're still reviewing something.
Probably time. Yeah, I'd guess probably when the clock stopped exactly. 33.5, so 3.5 seconds will in all likelihood come off on this possession and then turn the shot clock off for the rest of the game, unless we go to triple overtime, because why not?
Michigan led by as many as 9 in this double OT. It's been trimmed down to 5 thanks to some bad free throw shooting, 1 for 4 on free throws in the intentional fouling session. And this PA is cranked up to 1,000,000 as they go to inbound.
2 for 5.
Throw it way out to Stefanovic. His 3-pointer is an air ball out of bounds to Michigan. It went off the foot of Hunter.
That review gave Matt Painter over 2 minutes to think of what he wanted to do.
And they got a fadeaway for Stefanovic. And now they're going to review it.
Well, 30 seconds on the dot now, so no shot clock, but you know, why not? You take your time, get things right here, but Matt Painter has to think of something better than that, or at least Purdue's got to execute better than that. I mean, that was an ugly-looking shot.
It sure looked like it was out of bounds off the foot of Hunter from my angle, and we were close to it unless it touched out off Michigan first.
It might have hit the ground off of the hand.
Nope, it is Michigan ball.
Okay.
The referees strode to the table to review the video like ghost hunters in search of a poltergeist. But instead, they give the ball to Michigan right there.
Well, the first OT was about as dramatic as the Oregon one from a month ago, but this one, quite anticlimactic. Michigan got bored of this game, and they came out and decided to end things right away off the bat.
So Wagner will do the inbound. Michigan up 5, 30 seconds to go. It feels like only a couple of free throws could really end this game, but Michigan has not proven the capability to do that yet.
And I still don't get why Franz Wagner is inbound.
Wagner inbounds to Brooks, over to Wagner, over to DeJulius. They got Teskey up court, but DeJulius didn't see him, and it'll be DeJulius to the line again. He was just 1 for 2 a second ago.
These will be lower stakes with Purdue coming up empty. It was about 17 seconds ago in game time when he last shot, so I mean.
But again, this is a scenario where if you make 2, you're riding home. DeJulius makes the first.
So now
26.4 remaining, 81-75 Wolverines.
It's going to basically require everything going perfectly from here on out for Purdue, and that requires a miss here.
Julius the second, he swishes that one. Michigan up 7. They're on the doorstep of victory. Hunter comes up with it, 24 seconds remaining. He dribbles baseline, runs into trouble. They're trying to free Stefanovic, can't do it. Brooks is wearing him like a cheap suit. Instead, Hunter shoots the 3 off the mark. Williams the rebound, 15 seconds remaining. Outside, Stefanovic's 3 is good. 11 seconds remaining though, and that's the big factor. It took them 15 seconds to get that 3. They inbound it to Simpson. That's the guy they wanted to foul with 10 seconds remaining exactly in the game.
Only took him a second and a half there to draw a foul, so that is a win for these Boilermakers. But you're going to have to get up and down the court in a moment's notice. There's no timeouts left even for Purdue. So, I mean,
and all the Purdue players are walking over and talking to Matt Painter, and the referees rightly call them over. They do not have a timeout. They just started walking over there to call a huddle, and that's the important thing. They have no timeouts. They can't advance the ball really at all. It's helter-skelter the rest of the way. 2 free throws coming for Xavier Simpson. Not a great free throw shooter, but he sinks the first. 62% on the season entering today.
5-point game, and yeah, Purdue has to get right down the court here in a hurry. In fact, they just need to drop someone to start sprinting back toward the rim immediately here and try to do a football pass to him.
Simpson now 2 of 4 on the day at the stripe. His second is good. Michigan leads 84-78. They might have it in the bag now. Inbound pass to Hunter, 9 seconds remaining. He dribbles up, lost his dribble, 7 seconds. Stefanovic open for 3. That one off the heel, down to the corner, out of bounds to Purdue, 2.5 seconds remaining. This one's over, folks. And everyone heading to the exit. Michigan took a lot of punches tonight, but they will survive.
Yep, yeah, as you said, this one went more than just the distance. It was a 14-rounder, I guess you could call it. That actually works out perfectly.
And now the referees, are they heading over to the table to review this?
Sure, why not?
They're going to talk to the other referee over there.
The math actually works out perfectly on that, though, in a college basketball game. Oh, no, wait, no, there's only 48 minutes. 40 minutes, what am I talking about? Never mind.
They have warned Michigan's team that a technical foul will be assessed if objects are thrown on the floor. They inbounded in 2 seconds. Thompson stepped out of bounds. And what a dismal way to end a hard-fought road battle for Purdue. They're going to come up short. 84-78 the final. 1.7 remaining. Wagner inbounds it into Simpson. You hear the horn. And with that, Michigan has survived. They advance to 11-4 on the season, 2-2 in Big Ten play.
And Purdue drops to 9-7. That's a uncomfortable record. That's when you cross your fingers and pray for the right results on week 17 when you go 9-7. Purdue, this team is better than their record. They beat Virginia by, 26 points or something to that tune? But now they're lying on the bubble right now. I think they'll sort themselves out. But in this Big Ten, losing close games is a nail in the coffin. Michigan staying solid right now on that about 4-seed line for the tournament. Improving to 2-2 in conference play. They have to go to Minneapolis on Sunday. That should be a tight one as well. But they're staying in it, staying in the hunt for the conference championship, trying to hold on to a good seed, at the very least reach the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive season so they can welcome in that currently 4th in the country class. There's rumors Isaiah Todd is close to committing to Michigan right now, would shoot him even higher up the rankings. Positive momentum all around this program right now.
Well, that does it for us. Final score, Michigan 84, Purdue 78. For Daniel Thompson, Alex Drain, good night and go blue from Chrysler.